Let's settle back in our seats, watch and relax as we meet the Western and Eastern Division 1977 WHA All-Stars. Down to the ice and our announcer, Scott Rasmussen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Hartford Civic Center and the 5th Annual World Hockey Association All-Star Game, hosted by your New England Whalers. Now, let's meet the 1977 World Hockey Association West Division All-Stars. Voted the outstanding goaltender in the recent Izvestia tournament in Moscow. From the Winnipeg Jets, number 1, Joe Daly. Described by many as one of the 10 best defensemen in professional hockey. From the Winnipeg Jets, number 2, Tommy Bergman.
Get a real high.
Voted the WHA's outstanding defenseman for the 1975-76 season.
Okay.
And the MVP in last year's All-Star Game from the San Diego Mariners, number 3, Paul Schmier. Always a top-scoring defenseman, a rugged performer making his second All-Star appearance. From the San Diego Mariners, number 4, Kevin Morrison. A defenseman's defenseman, a solid performer playing in his first All-Star Game. From the Edmonton Oilers, number 5, Barry Wilkin. The foundation of the Aeros defense, second time as an All-Star. From the Houston Aeros, number 6, Paul Popeil. The all-time WHA scoring leader with over 500 total points, playing in his 5th All-Star Game. From the San Diego Mariners, number 7, Andre Lacroix. The United States' most valuable player in the recent Canada Cup Series, the highest scoring U.S.-born player in the major leagues, from the Phoenix Roadrunners, number 8, Robbie Fatoris. One of hockey's all-time greats, the most prolific scorer in the history of the game, from the Winnipeg Jets, number 9, Bobby Howe. The elder statesman of the game, this man leads professional hockey in every offensive category. From the Houston Aeros, number 9, Gordie Howe. One of the WHA's surest goal scorers, playing in his second All-Star Game. From the San Diego Mariners, number 10, Norm Ferguson. A WHA veteran, record-setting right winger from the Calgary Cowboys, number 11, Danny Lawson. The most valuable player in last year's AFCO Cup playoffs, playing in his second All-Star Game, from the Winnipeg Jets, number 14, Ulf Nielsen. A 100-point man the past 2 seasons, a developing superstar from the Winnipeg Jets, number 15, Anders Hedberg. A top goal scorer and penalty killer, one of the strongest forwards in the league, playing in his first All-Star Game. From the Houston Aeros, number 16, Cam Connor. One of the quiet, efficient forwards of the league, called the Invisible Man by his teammates and playing in his first All-Star Game. From the Phoenix Roadrunners, number 19, Del Hall. An aggressive forward who scores the big goals, dubbed Willie the Wisp by his teammates. From the Winnipeg Jets, number 20, Willie Lindstrom. A former forward now one of the best defensemen in the WHA. From the Calgary Cowboys, number 21, Paul Terbenci. A second-year man in the WHA, an American-born star playing in his first All-Star game. From the San Diego Mariners, number 22, Joe Norris. The winning goaltender in the only West Division All-Star victory to date. From the Houston Aeros, number 30, Wayne Rutledge. The coach of the West Division All-Stars is the coach of the defending Avco Cup champion Winnipeg Jets, Bobby Crown. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1977 World Hockey Association West Division All-Stars. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the East Division All-Stars. One of the all-time great defensemen, holder of the WHA record for most points by a defenseman, from the Quebec Nordiques, number 3, J.C. Tremblay. One of the steadiest blue liners in pro hockey. This man received the most votes of any defenseman in this year's All-Star balloting. From the Cincinnati Stingers, number 4, Ron Plum. The youngest player in tonight's All-Star game and one of the best young defensemen in hockey. From the New England Whalers, number 5, Gordie Roberts. An excellent playmaker, a hard worker in the corners, and a second-time All-Star. From the Indianapolis Racers, number 6, Michel Parizeau. A 5-year Major League veteran, among the league's top 10 scorers all season. The captain of the Indianapolis Racers, number 7, Hugh Harris. Last year's WHA scoring champion and most valuable player in the WHA. From the Quebec Nordiques, number 8, Marc Tardif. The most valuable player in last year's All-Star game in Cleveland with 3 goals. Currently battling for the WHA scoring lead. From the Quebec Nordiques, number 9, Réal Cloutier. A very aggressive defenseman and a solid blue line performer. From the Cincinnati Stingers, number 10, John Hughes. The youngest team captain in professional sports. Last year's WHA Rookie of the Year. From the Birmingham Bulls, number 11, Mark Napier. Another of professional hockey's all-time great defensemen, playing in his 4th WHA All-Star game. From the Indianapolis Racers, number 12, Pat Stapleton. On the way to his best season ever in the WHA, playing in his first All-Star game. From the Indianapolis Racers, number 15, Blair McDonald. A top candidate for WHA Rookie of the Year honors. The leading goal scorer of the New England Whalers, number 16, George Lyle. Ladies and gentlemen, One of the flashiest wingers in the WHA, a top goal scorer playing in his first All-Star game from the Cincinnati Stingers, number 17, Dennis Sobchuk. Currently enjoying his best season ever in the WHA, one of the league's outstanding centers from the Cincinnati Stingers, number 18, Rich Leduc. A tiny package of dynamite off to his best start ever. From the New England Whalers, number 20, Mike Rogers. Another of the fabulous Frenchmen, a high-scoring center from the Quebec Nordiques, number 21, Serge Bernier. Another of the flying Swedes who has attained stardom in the WHA, a smooth skating defenseman from the New England Whalers, number 22, Tommy Abrahamson. Another perennial all-star with a long list of impressive Major League Hockey credits. From the New England Whalers, number 23, Ralph Backstrom. Currently the leading goaltender in the Eastern Division, a first-time All-Star, late of the Minnesota Fighting Saints, now with the Edmonton Oilers, number 30, Louis Levasseur. One of the smallest goaltenders in the pros, and one of the most exciting to watch, playing in his first All-Star game from the Birmingham Bulls, number 35, John Garrett. The coach of the East Division All-Stars is the coach of last season's Eastern Division champions, Indianapolis Racers, Jacques Demers. Ladies and gentlemen, your 1977 World Hockey Association East Division All-Stars. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce you to some of the top officials of the World Hockey Association. First, the chairman of the board and chief executive officer of the WHA, Mr. Ben Hatskin. And now the president of the World Hockey Association, Mr. Bill McFarland. The vice president of the WHA and managing general partner of the host team, Mr. Howard Baldwin. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the Canadian and American national anthems. you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ran glare, the bombs bursting in air gave through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? And now, to conduct the ceremonial face-off, representing youth hockey throughout the greater Hartford area, a member of the Simsbury Whalers of the Mite Division, 8-year-old Kevin Walsh. Representing the West Division All-Stars, Captain Bobby Howe. And representing the East Division All-Stars, Captain Pat Stapleton.
Bob Lamy. Interesting opening ceremonies, players getting a chance to stretch their legs while they clear the mats and the cords and the cameras from the ice, and we'll be set to play hockey in just a moment. Quite a batch of talent down on the ice here at the Hartford Civic Center tonight.
Oh, there certainly is, Bill. I think when you have a Bobby Hull or Gordie Howe on one team, you have an explosive line. I think Bobby Crom mentioned to several of us this morning that at one time during the game he may play both Gordie and Bobby together between a centerman named LaCroix or something. I couldn't catch it.
Yeah, too bad. They don't have a lot of talent.
Not too much talent out there. The Racers have a contingent of 4 players. The New England Whalers have 5 on the Eastern Division All-Star team. Quebec has 4 players. They have the top-scoring line in the league on the Eastern Division All-Stars. Cloutier, who had 3 goals last year in the All-Star game, was the most valuable player with Mark Tardif and, of course, Serge Bernier. They are playing extremely well, not always as a unit, but playing well as a team. Quebec in first place in the East, and Winnipeg, of course, has the lead in the Western Division, or San Diego has the lead. Winnipeg trying to catch them. The Jets are the defending champions, but I think it's a game that they're going to throw caution to the wind. I don't think you're going to see any real close checking game here tonight.
Well, I think you're probably right. We've only got about 8,000 goals scored between all these people. Bob, one of the topics that has been discussed in the press around the country and, well, around North America, in both the United States and Canada, the Minnesota Fighting Saints. Well, today they officially have decided to voluntarily terminate their franchise unless a bona fide buyer completes a purchase transaction of the franchise by next Thursday, which is only 2 days away. So the WHA is now down to 11 teams. The Minnesota Fighting Saints players some have been sold, some will become free agents unless that transaction goes through. a lot of reaction to that around the hockey world.
Yeah, I think most of it, Bill, seems to me wrong. A lot of people who are saying, the league is really in trouble. I think maybe it's stronger now than it ever was.
Here are the officials coming to center ice. Ron Harris is our referee tonight. Alan Glassbell, his linesman on the right, and Ron Fournier on his left. Regular season officials, and sometimes the officials come in for a lot of criticism. This is a big night for them as well.
What do you mean sometimes?
Sometimes.
Only when they're here.
Only when they're here. Well, should be quite an evening, Robert. I look forward to watching this game, as I'm sure you do. The ceremony sometimes a little bit long. I thought they went with dispatch this evening. Everybody was properly recognized. When you're an all-star, an all-star, and an all-star, how do you pick any one over the other? I think it's going to be a lot of fun. This could be one of those 8-7 shootouts,
Oh, it wouldn't be bad, I tell you. As I said before, I think the big key for you and I, who broadcast these games in this league for a long time now, this one no one cares. We care who wins, but we're not worried. It's not in the standings, and can relax and enjoy a great hockey game.
Well, Serge Bernier is coming up to center ice. He'll face off, as he has done many times, I'm sure, against Ulf Nilsson. What a line. The Winnipeg Jets and the Quebec Nordiques against each other here. And they play this kind of shoot 'em up and down the ice game during the regular season. Ron Harris is set, and we're underway in the 5th annual WHA All-Star Game from the Hartford Civic Center, Hartford, Connecticut. Tommy Bergman and Paul Schmier, not a bad pair. Dump it down. This one's going to be icing before we get started. They want to go right to it. Hurry and dump the puck, and let's go score one, Bob.
You mentioned it. You got the two highest scoring lines in either division against each other right now. The Jets, Ulf Nilsson, Anders Hedberg, and Bobby Hull against Cloutier, Tardif, and Serge Bernier. And the defensive pair for the East, as we have now changed J.C. Tremblay, number 3, and Pat Stapleton, number 12. Jacques Demers will use that combination all night.
Right, and Plum and Hughes, of course, are both from the Cincinnati Stingers. We'll be seeing them a little bit later on. This face-off down in the corner. And it's a little bit... well, somebody lost a helmet. That's not supposed to happen in an all-star game, is it, Bob?
Ulf Nilsson got hit pretty hard.
Here's Whitey Stapleton in center ice. Dumps it right side. Bernier is in. Leaves it back for his teammate on the Nordiques and has it stripped off the stick.
Good poke check by Paul Schmier.
Not bad. Paul Schmier, one of the best in the business. Here come the Flying Swedes, kicked out by Rutledge. Well, the West here in the early going has Bobby Hull down behind the net, and Rutledge just kind of, or Levasseur, I should say. I got these 230s here. I'm looking at them both and just enjoying the game so much I should pay attention. There's Bergman. Trying to slide it out. Easily done. Norris, Hull. And Bernier drops it back to good old steady Whitey. He never seems to break a sweat in the game, Bob. You see him play all the 80 games with the Indianapolis Racers.
Many times 45, 50 minutes a game.
Gordie Howe out on the ice for his first appearance. A shot from the right point by Norris goes high in the crowd, and we'll have a face-off. Paul Popeil out there from the Houston Aeros, along with Gordie Howe. Joe Norris, there's Gordie Howe. 29th season in professional hockey. More of everything than anybody else has ever done in the game, Bob.
Not getting older, getting better. Every time I see him, he plays a better hockey game. The Indianapolis Racer line out for the East now. Michel Panasso at center, number 6. Hugh Harris, number 7 on the left wing, and Blair McDonald, number 15 on the right wing.
And Gordie Roberts back on defense with Tommy Abrahamson, the Racers and the Whalers. What an unusual combination to put them together. Here's Tommy A down the middle. Gives it to little Michel Parizeau, who dumps it in. I have to ask you about the stick that little Michel plays with. It's got to be one that he got in the little hockey store someplace, because it's the shortest one, I think, in professional hockey. We'll talk about that later.
Whatever he has it works.
It works, right. Here's Hugh Harris. Red line. Dumps it right side. McDonald. Shot and a save. Paul Popeil. We've got a lot of the arrows out on the line. Norris is on the line between Howe on the right and Cam Connor on the left. That's Howe, leaving it for his defensive partner, Paul Popeil, his defensive teammate, I should say, on the arrows, Popeil. Howe in center ice, throws to Popeil, red line. Back in the middle, Cam Connor, shot kicked out by Levasseur. I'm going to put Rutledge on the opposite team. Down the right side, McDonald now. Parizeau, they're in. Back to McDonald, tries to put it in front, can't do it. Kevin Morrison from the San Diego Mariners, number 4 with the puck.
Goal-scoring threat on defense.
He certainly is. There's Hugh Harris trying to go to Parizeau, but poke checked right back. Tommy Abrahamson circling in his own end. Tommy Abrahamson, third. There's his little flashy move that he uses from time to time. steps over the red line, dumps it in. Norm Ferguson's going to send it right back out.
To a teammate.
And we've got an offside. The little fella in the middle, Andre Lacroix.
All-time leading scorer in the WHA. There's Normie Ferguson, who's had just a great start with the Mariners and leads the league in winning goals. Has 7, and he is really the guy they look to in the clutch. Playing on the right side with his teammate Andre Lacroix, who's number 7, and the left winger Willie Lindstrom, who has a broken cheekbone, has the mask. He is playing along with the rest of his Winnipeg teammates. Normie Ferguson, an all-star for the second time, has played very, very well this year.
We were sitting here watching those opening ceremonies and listening to number 9, Bobby Hull, number 9, Gordie Howe, and I thought surely the announcer was going to say number 9, Norm Ferguson. That's how we usually see him, but tonight he's number 10. I guess he can give up a number to a couple of those fellas.
He does. Here he comes.
And Howe, he's in, right back to the line. Quick shot, kicked out. Barry Wilkins from the point on that one. Puck loose in the corner now, and Ferguson to Lacroix. Front shot, hit the post. Willie Lewis hit the post. Another one is ticked wide by Andre Lacroix, and Ralph Backstrom will work it out on the left side. Fires it on ahead in a big hurry. Offside. Hold everything.
Offside.
Come back
pass.
and try it again, Rich Leduc. Rich Leduc from the Cincinnati Stingers.
Almost got that breakaway pass, started at 2-on-1 with his teammate Dennis Sopchuk. I think the first couple of minutes, Bill, it's easy to see why Louis Levasseur is leading the league in goals against average. Playing under a bit of a handicap now with the Edmonton Oilers after Sale today. Well, he's played well, kicked out a couple of big shots early.
We'll talk about that a little later on. The sale to the Edmonton Oilers. Andre Lacroix dumped it out of the zone, then comes up with it again in center ice, and now it's Lindstrom on the left side. He's over the line and in. Oh, Lacroix tries to go out front, knocked loose, and hauling it away is Dennis Sopchuk. On the move, lets one go from center ice. Easily handled, and right back they come. Lacroix down the middle. Stops, drops it back, all the way back. 2-on-1. Here it comes, Bob. And Sopchuk put it behind Leduc. Back in front, Sopchuk kicked out. Nice save. That's Sopchuk and Leduc went in. Puck is in the corner. I think that's the first time anybody's run into the boards. You mentioned earlier they have a lot of fun playing these games. They don't get too tight in the corner, do they?
Not too tight.
Little whoop. Now Leduc gets the face off in the corner to the right. Lavatsky. 15:38 to go in a scoreless first period. I think the fans here, Bob, take the game in the spirit that it's intended and enjoy all of the activity and the pomp and whatever it is that goes with it. And just to put it all together here, it's just so much fun to see those people. For once, they're on your side.
The wide open games, you know, both teams playing up and down, and the only two guys suffer the goal sentence.
That's right. It's like playing in practice when the coach says we're going to do 3-on-0s and you stop them all. Yeah. George Lyle out on the ice now with Whitey Stapleton, Mike Rogers, and Mark Napier. Some good young talent out on the ice as the West Division ices the puck.
American-born Robbie Fatorik out of Phoenix. What a great hockey player he is. And the story on Robbie is if you're walking across the street with him, you better run because he's going to try to beat you to the other side. That fierce a competitor and just a heck of a hockey player. And I've never seen him have a bad game.
Robbie Fatorik, who must, with all that equipment on, go about 153.5 pounds. But I'll tell you what, just as you said, a competitor every inch of the way. He'll be fighting you. Against Mike Rogers, another one of the little fellas. Gets it back to the right point. J.C. Tremblay couldn't do anything with it. Here comes Fatorik.
The Lawson.
And Lawson dumps it in, easily handled.
No collision.
There's Louis. Oh, no, we don't go in and knock over those goaltenders tonight. Interesting story about Louis, Bob.
Yeah, he started the season and was leading goaltender of the Minnesota Fighting Saints, that franchise for all intents and purposes, out of the WHA, and he was sold to the Edmonton Oilers along with 6 other players, and it will be interesting to see what Edmonton does with those players because they have room on their roster for only 2 or 3. So there is a major trade anticipated, and clubs like New England and Cincinnati and Birmingham very prominently mentioned.
And indeed they are. The meetings are going on at this All-Star break, and we may get some news. I don't know whether they're going to release some things or whether some trades have been made or not while we've been sitting here even, Robert, but it could have happened, and if it is, we'll pass it along to you. This is Stapleton behind the net. Pat Stapleton. 5 feet 8 inches tall, but he plays a ton on defense. We're going to have an offside. Nope, knocked out. Delayed offside indicated. Down the left side, Del Hall looking for a loose puck. JC What a defensive combination out there now, J.C. Tremblay and Pat Stapleton. Not too shabby, Robert.
Think they've been there before?
I think they've been there once or twice. Buck back behind Levasseur again. Stapleton is there. Scrambling with Danny Lawson. Tries to come back to left point. Does get it out for Bergman. Shoots it wide. Fatorik holds it in. Nice move. Stapleton and Fatorik, two of the mighty midgets that are talent-wise giants in the World Hockey Association. Hall tries to throw it out front for Lawson, but it's ticked back away by Tremblay.
Here we go.
Slides it ahead to Mike Rogers. Right side, Napier. Stops, fires, knocked down by Bergman.
Good block by Bergman because otherwise he screens Rutledge.
Left side, Hall in for a quick shot. Handled easily by Louis. Mark Napier. How about the talent on this line with Napier on the right side and young George Lyle on the left side? The two of them are still about, ages combined, are still about 8 years younger than Gordie Howe. Anders Hedberg, another one of the real giants in the league. Nice move in front, trying to clear the puck out of the zone. They managed to get it out, but just barely. That's Cardiff. Bernier right side it in, and he can't get a shot away. Goes behind the net, slides it out front to the right point. Here comes Gordie Roberts with a shot, knocked down, and we have a high stick, and that will call for a face-off. It was handled by another player on the same team, the West Division All-Stars. We're still scoreless, 13-31. Frankly, Bob, as we take a look at Bobby Hull here, I'm a little surprised that we haven't turned on a red light or two already.
I have too. There have been some good shots, but the goaltender's playing very, very well. And you've had a couple of block shots. The last by Gordie Howe prevented his goaltender from being screened on the shot also.
Bernier against Nilsson, controlled by nobody yet. Back to the point that Gordie Roberts wheels it around the boards, far corner. Popeil is there, slides it ahead. Here they come, 3-on-2. Nilsson in the middle, leaves it. Bobby Hull can't handle it. Out it comes. Cloutier. What talent down on the ice. John Garrett says, Ron Harris, Bobby Hull tripped somebody. Blow the whistle. This is one of the games the officials enjoy too, I'm sure.
Well, you don't want to give too many penalties. It takes away from the game, but they'll call the odd penalty as soon as something obvious happens.
That was Morrison dumping it in, and he spun off Nilsson, his centerman, around, and there wasn't much he could do about it. Kevin Morrison came from New Haven in the American Hockey League to San Diego in the World Hockey Association and has become quite a defenseman.
Yeah, you know, when Kevin came into the league, there were those who said, okay, he's big and tough, but can he play the game? Well, 24-goal season says yes, he can.
He can play the game. Cloutier, number 9. Rael Cloutier from the Quebec Nordiques. Here they come. Cloutier in the middle. Tardif right side. He's in. Knocked away nicely that time, Paul Popeil. He looks around. He's with Hedberg. Down the middle. They leave it. And following it up, here's Nelson. Shot saved by Levasseur. Bobby Hull digs it out. Behind the net, Nilsson. Out front, Howe walks in one, and it's another save. What a save that one was. Wait till you see that one. Those guys don't have. There's Bernier, one-on-one the other way, and he's knocked away. Last minute by Popeil. Popeil gave Rutledge a little more help than Levasseur got at the other end, Bob.
I tell you, the star of the first period so far is Louis Levasseur.
Oh, he's doing all right. Bobby Hull, left side, Morrison. This is Popeil. Comes to the line. They say that one's all right. That was close enough. No offside on that.
Let it play.
Serge Bernier. Gordie Roberts sends it ahead. This will be... Nope, they're going to wave it off. And everybody changes down below us. Whoops. Are they going to take it in? No, they didn't. They waited. That play is onside. I thought Hugh Harris might step in a little quick there, Bob, but they kept the play onside and put a little pressure on in the corner. About 2 feet from the corner, really.
Well, they kept it right on the blue line. I'm not sure it was offside, Bill. Michel Parnaso waited till the last second, then carried it in.
They freeze it in the corner to the right of Wayne Rutledge, and with 11:16 to go here in the opening period, we're still scoreless as we take a look at little mighty Michel.
I'll tell you, Michel Parnaso, one heck of a hockey player. Here we got a great play coming up with Bobby Hull on Louis Levasseur right in front of the East cage. Now watch Louis play it perfectly. Watch his Hull trying to get the handle on it to go top shelf on him. Louis stays right down, puck shot right along the ice, and watch the save as he comes up a little bit on him. He's looking the wrong way, but the pad's in the right way, in the right position. And now look at Hedberg right in front of the net. If he wasn't taken out, it's a goal on the rebound.
It sure is.
say they don't play defense in the All-Star games?
Well, at least the goaltenders have to. Linesman Alan Glass-Bell drops the puck. Gordie Howe is on the far side trying to dig it out. Can't do it yet. Here's McDonald. Now, and they turn right around the other way. Joe Norris to Howe. Can't get it out of the zone, though. Kept in by little Michel Parizeau. Now they'll bring it out. This is Gordie Howe. Tries to flip it ahead. Nope. No offside. Cam Connor might have had one skate on the line, and they started right back the other way. A little bit sloppy in between the blue lines at the moment as they try to get it turned around. This is Cam Connor going one-on-one with John Hughes. Drops it back. Quick shot. Wide. That one from Joe Norris. Tipped wide by Louis Lavasseur. Down the middle and going nowhere that time. McDonald coming right back. Barry Wilkins. Trying to get it over the line, it's just barely over the line. Can't keep it in. Comes back out to Norris. Holds. Gets everyone on side. Flips to Gordie Howe. Left side to Cam Connor. Too deep. Be knocked away by Ron Plum. We're just about halfway through the first period of the Hartford Civic Center 5th Annual World Hockey Association All-Star Game. Still scoreless. This is Cam Connor, bright young star from the Houston Aeros. Long left side pass from McDonald to Harris. Parizeau back to Harris. Trying to go out front, can't do it. We're going to have, no, I thought we'd have a hand pass, but one of the West Stars dove in and beat Parizeau to it. John Hughes, McDonald, offside. 9:39 as the boys are getting into the spirit of the thing now, Bob.
Yes, they are up and down, and that time I think Blair started to make the pass on his left wing to Hugh Harris, but couldn't see his way through the defenseman there, and so carried it in himself, and Huey was just destroying offside. But there's the guy who has really been the star in the first period. Had been make some big saves early. The big one off Bobby Hall. Anytime you stop the Golden Jet in that close, Bill, you've done a heck of a job.
I'm sure he'd like to save that one for one of the games. It's got 2 points on the line. Down at the other end, Wayne Rutledge knocks one away. Here comes Andre Lacroix. Tommy Bergman. Good, says the linesman as Willie Lindstrom goes in. Can't handle a puck, however. And they started right back out. Dennis Sobchuk. Left wing, Richie Leduc. In the corner, out front, nobody there. Right back comes Andre Lacroix. Leaves it for Lindstrom. Ahead to Schmier. Ferguson. Schmier inside. Taken away. Whitey Stapleton. And the West.
East on the attack.
Saw one go by the boards, and the East comes right back. They're just moving it around the nets. The goaltenders are going to have about 50 saves apiece if this keeps up, Bob.
And none of the fans will mind at all.
No way. Right side. Sobchuk. Out front.
Puck out of the air and throws it right in.
Oh, the incomparable Frenchman, J.C. Tremblay. Let's watch it again.
All right, here's a pass ahead to Richie Leduc, the centerman from the Cincinnati Stingers, using his teammate Dennis Sobchuk on the near boards. Now watch Dennis set up J.C. right in front. Sucks the defense outside with him. He's got him where he wants. Feeds it in the slot. Out of the air. J.C. comes up, shoots it in. 1-0 East. Big goal by J.C. Tremblay. Leduc and Sobchuk will pick up the assist.
Wow. That looked like he was hitting a low knee-high fastball on the outside corner, knocked it down, then put it behind the goaltender.
Oh, I think Rutledge was really mesmerized by the stick work of J.C. Tremblay. He did an excellent job. Great pass from Dennis Sobchuk, set it up.
One of the things that J.C. Tremblay does, the same as Pat Stapleton, they don't seem to have to work awfully hard, but they're always in the right spot, and that time Tremblay in where you don't often see him.
Experience, that's the key word with both of those gentlemen. They played the game enough to know how to get from point A to point B with the least amount of energy and be there on time.
Okay, play back in now. The East leading on J.C. Tremblay's goal, coming at 11:17, 1-0. No icing, say the linesman, as Gordie Roberts chases it down, takes it from Louis Lavasseur, goes behind the net. The youngest player in the World Hockey Association right now. Starts it out, loses it. Andre Lacroix puts a couple or three moves on. It's pulled down. They try to Willie Lindstrom out front. Shot. Loose. And
Bobby Howe
put it on. I didn't see the goal light go on. I didn't see how it could stay out, Bob.
Great save again by Louis Levasseur, but the rebound came right back onto Bobby Hall's stick and nothing that Louis could do. Two big stops again, but the third one, well, here's the way it looks. Again, the great play right over in front. Normie Ferguson is there. The puck comes back, a backhanded shot. Levasseur makes the save, can't find it, and Bobby Hull sweeps in and puts it in.
Well,
Andre
Lacroix will pick up the second assist.
11 minutes.
they say Paul Schmier. I got a replay. It looked like the Golden Jet.
Yes, it was.
No question about it. Down the middle now. In a big hurry. Mark Napier is pulled down. No penalty. Well, the fans are definitely an Eastern Division crowd here, Bob.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Rogers battling on the far boards. He's out there with George Lyle. It's Paul Popeil. Lyle in working with Popeil behind the net. They get a whistle.
Maybe we're seeing too many number 9s. They're going to call it Paul Schmier. It looked like Paul from the angle we had.
Well,
we'll go along with Paul.
Well, sure, we'll take a look. Goal Schmier is what the clock says. 1-1 is the score underneath that Whalers. They're the host team here tonight at the Hartford Civic Center. That's the East Division All-Stars scoreboard, and the visitors, of course, are from the West. There's Paul Popeil, number 6, Robbie Fatorik, number 8. Both West Division All-Stars. Popeil, a solid performer, and just getting the recognition he deserves. He has been a performer, very solid defenseman for many years in this league.
The Houston Aeros have won a couple of AVCO Cup championships with a tremendous defense anchored by Popeil and Shella and others. Paul should be on the All-Star team. It is.
Play is back underway, and it's the West turn to come storming down. Out front, Louis reached out in a big hurry and grabbed that one.
Danny Lawson, one of the top goal scorers. Only Bobby Hull has scored more in the WHA. Danny from the Calgary Cowboys and perched right on the doorstep. Louis made another big stop.
Dell Hall had come down the left side. He's one of those very quiet, efficient forwards. Gets the job done. Scores a ton of goals. Face-off coming to the left of Levasseur as Hughes comes out on defense with Plum. And Hughes is trying to come up with a puck in the skates of Fatorik and Rogers, and it finally comes to George Lyle. Ahead to Morrison, to Morrison, and he puts it back in, and Fatorik and Hughes battle for it. George Lyle, Morrison again. Fatorik, loose puck, and the East breaks it out 2-on-1, but coming over in a hurry, Popeil breaks it up and forces the play offside. Mark Napier moving into about 900 miles an hour with those Birmingham Jets.
I'll tell you, the Birmingham Bull Rookie of the Year, Mark Napier, playing out there with George Lyle. You mentioned it a while ago, an awful lot of talent there with Mike Rogers in the middle. They're all young and upcoming superstars in the league, and I think that's one of the showcases of the WHA, the youngsters.
There's Mike Rogers with a shot from the face-off went wide, and his teammate on the New England Whalers, George Lyle, takes it to the corner. They pop it loose. Napier tries to put it out front, and how about that one? They rolled it right up into the air. It could have fallen down behind Wayne Rutledge, but he hung on.
Tell you, I think we've seen an excellent first period of play. Both goaltenders coming up big, both teams having scoring chances, and we've seen 2 goals, one aside.
And 2 goals by 2 of the premier players in professional hockey history. J.C. Tremblay from the Quebec Nordiques. And Paul, I'm still going to give it to Bobby Hull. I'm really tough. You're right, Paul Schmier.
Both defensemen, that's an oddity.
It is. Serge Bernier is out there now. This is Cloutier. And he loses it. They call Dell. Danny Lawson gets it. And he couldn't break it 2-on-1 and has to settle for just dumping it down behind the net where Plum and Bernier break it out. In the middle, Tardif. Tardif over the line, steps around, spun, falls, no penalty. Plum, left side, Hughes, gets everyone on side, sends it right back in. Lawson. Fatorik. Whoop. Good, says the linesman, but they can't make the pass connect, and the East will bring it right back out. Bernier tries to get a shot, can't do it. Nice play, Bobby Hull. Everyone thinks that Bobby does nothing but play offense. Demonstrated there he knows how to keep the other guy off the board as well.
And we're sure that was Hull.
That one was. And look at him waiting at the doorstep to go the other way as Morrison brings it along. Leaves it for Hull. Hull cross looking for his centerman on the Winnipeg Jets, Ulf Nilsson. Can't make it happen. And there's no icing as the linesmen wave it off. We're down to just 5 minutes, 37 seconds to go in the first period of this All-Star game with the score still tied at 1. Oh, Bobby Hull's offside. That'll stop the play, and we'll get a face-off. Both teams changing now. Stapleton comes out on the ice. Plum and Hughes come off. At the end of this period, we're going to be talking to some of the All-Stars. It's going to be Paul Schmier. From time to time, we'll get an opportunity to talk to all of these players. Right now, Bob Lamy will be heading down to get set up to take care of that chore. Most interesting people that you'll be meeting tonight. And they'll all be stars of the game, obviously. This is Pat Schofield. He fires one in. Garrett, another save. 4 minutes, 40 seconds to go. Second period, 2-1. Bob, you're heading down, and before you get there, can you tell us who your guest is going to be this period?
Well, if we get the dressing rooms and the aisleways straight, we'll have Louis Levasseur.
Okay, very good. 10,337 fans in Hartford enjoying just a most entertaining hockey game. The East leading the West 2-1. We're in the final 5 minutes of the second period. This is Mark Tardif. John Hughes. Cloutier. Red line. Number 9 is Cloutier. Stopped. Tardif walking through and taken away by Terbenci. They go right back. They work it in for Howe. He tries to go in front. Puck hit the side of the net. Loose behind the net. Now they try to get it out for Cam Connor. Can't do it. I said Terbenci, and it's number 22, Joe Norris. Our apologies to all the fans in San Diego on that one. Here's Tardif. He's in. He makes 3 moves. Flips it wide of the net. What a move. Mark Tardif. 3:55 to go. Second period. Here's Bernier. Back to Cloutier. Cloutier to Tardif. Knocked away. That one by Barry Wilkins. Norris leaves now. Right side, Gordie Howe. Walks all the way in. Stops. Flips toward the net. Garrett kicks out. Kicks it right onto Cam Connor. Stick out front. Garrett another save. That one from Joe Norris. Puck goes into the crowd and stops the clock with 3 minutes, 37 seconds to go. In the second period of the 5th annual World Hockey Association All-Star Game from the Hartford Civic Center, Hartford, Connecticut, home of the New England Whalers. Look at this. Tardif, there's one move. He gets a little bit of grief. He flips it wide, just barely wide of the pipe. Mark Tardif has already scored one tonight. He has the go-ahead goal at 14:56 of the first period from Stapleton and Serge Bernier. Next year, for fans in Houston, Texas, look forward to this annual event. It'll be the 6th annual All-Star Game, WHA, scheduled at the Summit, Houston, Texas. Right now, Paul Terbenci dumps the puck in for Whitey Stapleton behind the net. Wheels it around the boards. Whoops, McDonald didn't get it. Stopped instead, Danny Lawson. This is Parizeau down. Left side, Hugh Harris. It pops up on the twine. Face-off will come to the right of Joe Daly. There's the premier goaltender in the WHA. And in the recent Izvestia Cup tournament in Moscow, in which the Winnipeg Jets participated as a representative of the World Hockey Association. Joe Daly. Face-off will be to his right as we watch Gordie Howe go to the bench. Number 9, Gordie Howe. That's Norm Ferguson, San Diego Mariners, one of the fine right wings. Back behind the net, this is Schmier. Had it taken right off his stick, far side. Hey, you're going to tie it up over there or not? Tommy Bergman can't do it. Instead, Parizeau pops it loose. Parizeau trying to work it through to Harris, couldn't do it. Instead, it's Ferguson the other way. Willie Lindstrom can't handle it. Down in the corner, it's Tremblay. Out front, Ferguson shot. What a save, John Garrett. Oh, look at that one with you. John Garrett on the doorstep. Wide open. Here you'll see it. There's number 3 is Tremblay. You watch the puck come out front. Everybody goes to the corner. There's the puck, popped loose. Here it is. There's Ferguson. Bang, right on the doorstep. What a save, Garrett. 2:49 to go. Scoreless second period. East still leads the West 2-1. As Ferguson dumps it back in. Down behind Garrett. J.C. Tremblay waits. How about that move? Skated right around the puck. Down the left side, Hugh Harris chasing, but this will be icing. If Tommy Bergman gets there first, there's the whistle. That stops the clock with 2 minutes, 27 seconds to go. Some people say this is one of the top half dozen or 10 defensemen in the entire world. Tommy Bergman plays for the Winnipeg Jets, and he is a good one. 10,337 fans on hand tonight to witness this 5th annual All-Star Game at the Hartford Civic Center. Just an enjoyable, entertaining evening. And so far in the second period, all the entertainment, not all the entertainment, but much of it has been provided by the goaltenders. They have been outstanding. As a matter of fact, we'll talk to Louis Lavasseur at the end of the first period. Here's Lacroix. Lacroix looking for somebody out front, looking for that tying goal. Gives to Lindstrom. Schmier dashes in. Backhander in front. Lacroix! Another save by Garrett. And Tommy Abrahamson comes the other way for the Whalers. Tommy left side. Leduc. Back to Backstrom. Ralph Backstrom trying to keep it in. Does. Gordie, or rather Norm Ferguson, and Lacroix take it the other way. Willie Lindstrom tips it in. Around the boards. We're in the final 2 minutes of the period. Long right wing pass for Leduc. He's got it. Ahead to Sobchuk. Backstrom. Well, Backstrom breaking. Sobchuk couldn't get him the puck. Instead, it's Morrison. Up and down the ice. Loose in center ice. Just trying to get everybody changed up. This is Backstrom with the puck. Long right wing pass. Sobchuk. Can't get to Luke. That's Morrison. To Fatorik. Fatorik 3-on-2. He's got Lawson right. Hall left. Fatorik behind the back pass. Broken up. Tommy Abrahamson. Tommy Abrahamson, New England Whalers. Fatorik, Phoenix Roadrunners. Loose puck. They try to get again to Fatorik. Can't do it. Instead, it's knocked down. The Duke put it in. Morrison knocked it back out. We're in the final minute of the period. Danny Lawson down the middle. Quick shot. Easily kicked to the right corner by Garrett. Tommy Abrahamson. Loose puck in front. Garrett tried to come out after it. Gets a little help from his friends. George Lyle takes it the other way. He's got Rogers left. Here's Mighty Mike. Flips it in front to Lyle. He shot it wide. George Lyle shot the puck wide. Popeil will try and get it out of trouble with Rogers all over him. 30 seconds to go in the period. Rogers and Popeil will battle back behind the net. Fatorik. Lawson tried to go ahead. So Hall breaking left side, couldn't do it. This is Rogers bringing it in. 15 seconds to go. Lyle flips it through everybody, but Fatorik knocks it down and brings it out. One last rush for the West. Fatorik down the middle. Drops for Morrison. Shot wide. Lawson shot wide. Kicked back behind the net by Garrett at the buzzer. And after 2 periods, the score as we watch John Garrett come off. The score is the East All-Stars 2, the West All-Star 1s. Most appreciative crowd applauding them. There's no scoring to report in the second period. It all happened in the first period, as you see the scoreboard here at the Civic Center.
In the second period.
At 11:17 of the first period, Tremblay started the scoring, and Leduc and Sobchuk to assist, and Smear tied it. Tardif the go-ahead goal. That's all there was. And that's the way it stands after 2 periods, 2-1. This program is made possible by grants from Avco Financial Services Incorporated and Connecticut General Insurance Corporation. This is PBS, the Public Broadcasting Service. Bill Rasmussen speaking to you from the Hartford Civic Center, Hartford, Connecticut. The second period of the 5th Annual World Hockey Association All-Star Game has just ended with the Eastern Division All-Stars leading the Western Division All-Stars 2-1. The Eastern Division, in case you're new to WHA hockey, is composed of Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Birmingham, and the Quebec Nordiques. And the Western Division, of course, has San Diego, Houston, Phoenix, and the 3 Canadian teams, Winnipeg, Calgary, and Edmonton. We have got the shots on goal in the second period now, 20 for the West, 11 for the East. The total shots through 2 periods, the West 38, the East 18. Bob Lamey standing by with a guest, and let's go down to Bob right now.
The All-Star game is a game of stars, and just one of the many in tonight's game here in Hartford is goaltender Louis Levasseur from the East. And Louis, been awful tough out there. They shot a lot of pucks at you.
Yeah, in the first period, yeah, they got pretty good shot there, but I think that we were kind of bringing the puck back too much. That's why they had so many shots.
You had a big save, I remember, off Bobby Hull in the first period. Were you conscious that it was Bobby Hull in front?
Yeah, I saw him, and he had a lot of time, but you know, with that big hook he's got, maybe he tried to go up, you know, top corner, and I think it's maybe the hooks, it just didn't work with the hook. So.
He's got a great hook and a great shot. Louis, I'll tell you, they talk about the young stars of the game. You've had to battle your way through the minor leagues. You played in Johnstown for a while. It's been a long time getting here. What are your feelings on your first WHA season?
Well, I'm very, it's a big thrill here for me tonight because I didn't expect that at the beginning of the year because I was not sure for a job myself. And you know, like I spent a lot of time in the minor, and I just look forward for the rest of the season and next year, and I hope everything works all right.
You've had a great teacher, I think, and one of your assistant coaches at Minnesota, Jack McCartan. He had to help you.
Yeah, Jack is one of the best guy for a goaltender. He just, he's an old goaltender himself, and he tells me a lot of things, you know, that I didn't know about it, and I really appreciate Jack. He's a hell of a man.
What about your style, Louis? Do you copy after anybody in particular?
Well, no. When I was younger, I tried to, but it didn't work. So one day I said, the heck with it. I just got to go out there and try to stop the puck. So I try to stand up as most as I can.
Tonight's game, the All-Stars, you're conscious of who's playing on the other side, the Gordie Howes, the Bobby Hulls and stuff. Are you watching them play, or is this just another game for Louis?
Well, no, I was in the first 5 minutes. I was kind of watching these guys play, and but after that, I got in the game, and it was a big thrill, really, to play against these guys.
First goal, I think you really didn't have much of a chance on. You made a big save, and then Paul Schmier came out of nowhere.
Yeah, Paul Schmier came from the blue line there. I just don't know what he was doing there.
You'll have to talk to him after the game. That's against the rules, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. You're not supposed to be there.
You play with another great player, a good friend of ours, and a guy who has helped this league considerably, Davey Keon. He's having a heck of a year also.
Sure, Dave is he's just a leader for us down there, you know, and he really helps the whole team. He's a great leader to us.
You're playing with John Garrett tonight. Two kind of contrasting styles in goaltending. Do you watch Garrett? Do you watch Daly and Rutledge while they're playing?
Oh, yes. I watched all of them, you know, and I just to see, you know, maybe I can pick up something. I'm willing to take anything.
Louis, what's the toughest shot for you as a goaltender?
Oh, well, I guess the screenshot's got to be the toughest one to stop, I guess.
You had a couple of those in the first period.
Yeah.
What about the game now? It's 2-1. The goaltending has taken over really in the first 2 periods. You think it'll be more wide open in the third period, rather?
Well, these games, they're always the same. They're kind of wide open, and I'm sure, like in the third period, GC's going to close the door, and we're going to win the game.
You're leaving it up to JC.
Yeah.
Wait till he hears that.
Yeah.
By the way, you've had some good defense in front. Pat Stapleton, JC Tremblay, Gordie Roberts has played a great game.
Yeah, Gordie's he's a good young kid. He's a pretty good hockey player.
Tough when you see a kid 19 years old and one 48 years old, a little bit contrasting ages there.
Yeah, that's right. That's for sure.
Louis, our congratulations on what has been a great season, a great job done tonight, and the very, very best to you in the future. Louis Levasseur, goaltender from the Minnesota Fighting Saints and now the Edmonton Oilers, an outstanding goaltender the first 2 periods for the East. We'll return now to the press box and Bill Rasmussen.
Thank you very much, Bob Lamey and Louis Levasseur. And Louis can take the night off, but we're still going to make some people work up here. Standing with me now, 2 gentlemen from a corporation doing the underwriting of tonight's game. With me on the far side, Senior Vice President from Connecticut General Insurance Corporation, Bud Loweth. And Bud, you've got a long night ahead yet. You're going to be down on the ice making a presentation. This is an award that Connecticut General is going to present to a player of this game. Amidst all of the rest of the excitement, you've got one more high point yet to go.
Well, that's right, Bill. This is quite an exciting night, but I never fail to get excited in the Civic Center. I remember a couple of years ago when they opened the Civic Center, I walked in here and had a big thrill. I just couldn't believe that Hartford could pull off something like this, but they have, and they continue to support events like this. Last night, as you know, they had 1,000 people downstairs at the banquet, and last fall they filled the place up with Frank Sinatra. The tennis tournaments are sellouts. It's just quite a community. I'm very proud to be a part of it.
Well, we're very proud to have Connecticut General so involved and look forward to your on-ice presentation a little bit later on. Be careful out there with those Frenchmen out there. Skate and move pretty quick.
Okay, Bill. Thank you.
Bud Lowith, Senior Vice President from Connecticut General. Vice President for Public Relations, Bob Chamberlain, is standing with us. And, Bob, it's not a palm sweater like when you're watching your own New England Whalers play. A moment ago, I named all of the teams in the division, and I purposely left out the New England Whalers because I suspect that they mean more to the community of Hartford than some of the teams in bigger cities do. This has had quite an impact, the presence of the World Hockey Association here, and Hartford in the last 2 years and the last couple of days has really turned out to be a major league city, hasn't it?
It sure has, Bill. And leaving New England Whalers to last probably just sort of means you save the best for last. But you know, Hartford has changed, and there are a lot of people out there in hockey land, perhaps watching this broadcast tonight, who maybe natives of Hartford who left Hartford. They ought to come back and see what's happening around here. This place is alive. You got the Civic Center, as Bud said, and people have turned out for this, for tennis and all the other things. They got a new highlight in town where $80 million was wagered this past year, their first season opening. We got the Pro Golf Tour in town, Sammy Davis Jr. Greater Hartford Open. The whole atmosphere around here is just brand new and exciting. And I just heard a little while ago, Bill, that even the WHA headquarters is coming to Hartford within the next month and a half from Toronto. And I think that's a really new dimension to this great city.
Well, as a native of Hartford, you've seen it all happen, and the last couple of years I have been in this general neighborhood for only a few years, not as many as you have, but it seems that it has just exploded in the last couple of years.
Yes, and you know, Bud mentioned it a minute ago that actually the community is all together. The arts are together with Bud's chairman of the Greater Hartford Arts Council fundraising drive, and they're going to raise half a $500 million. And the business community is investors in the Whalers. They're investors in the Civic Center. The arts, the people, and the business community are all together, and that's what's making it happen. And it's exciting.
Bob Chamberlain, Bud Lowith from Connecticut General Insurance Corporation, thanks very much for stopping by. Hope you enjoy the third period as much as you have the first two.
Thank you, Bill.
We're between the second and third period of the 5th Annual WHA All-Star Game. At this point, the Eastern Division All-Stars are leading the Western Division All-Stars 2-1. The goal scorers for the East are J.C. Tremblay, Mark Tardif. For the West, Paul Schmier. We have some additional people that we would like you to meet. Standing on my immediate right, the President of the World Hockey Association, who has had a very busy couple of days, Bill McFarland. Bill, you've got one period of hockey to go and probably another 17 hours of meetings before midnight. It's gone very well, and congratulations.
It's been an excellent game, and we may have one period in 10 minutes, the way it looks. Goaltenders have been great, and I think the press and the media who are wise enough to select a lot of the young kids that are in the WHA can be responsible for the action in this game because they played very well. Napier and Sobchuk, the young goalies, and John Hughes and Cam Connor, and a whole raft of top young players in the WHA, and I think it's a great hockey game, and it's got a lot of pace to it. I think a little more than we had last year in the All-Star game.
I think that the presence of, I guess, virtually a full house here at the Civic Center, the enthusiasm transmits itself. These youngsters, they might say the game doesn't count for 2 points, but it's kind of a thrill to be down there and playing with some other fellas that they play against all the other games of the season.
That's right, and I think the game is carrying through the format that the Whalers have started here with a very splendid All-Star banquet and All-Star game, and I have to congratulate you and your people and Howard Baldwin and his staff for putting on what I think is one of the best All-Star games I've ever attended, and I've attended a lot.
Well, thank you on behalf of everyone that's worked so hard in it, Bill. We just stand here and watch it all happen at this point, so it's a pleasure, though, and it's a lot of fun. I'm just enjoying this hockey game myself. This young man standing next to you here, handsome and dapper as he always is the Executive Vice President of the World Hockey Association, Larry Gordon. Larry has been very involved in international hockey, and Mr. Hatskin mentioned earlier the international twist that the league schedule will take next year. Well, Larry has virtually lived with the international teams this past month, the Russians in particular. And Larry, we've heard everything there is to hear about how good they are and all the other things. What are these guys really like? I mean, we think that they're automatons of some sort. What are they really like?
That's right, Bill. A lot has been said that they're machines, that they're robots, and that's completely untrue. They're real down-to-earth people and have a tremendous sense of humor. For example, we were in San Diego with the team, and I asked them if there was anything else that we could do for them on behalf of the WHA to make their stay more enjoyable. And they said, yes, there is, and we'd like a meeting this evening. So at 6 o'clock that night we met, and they hit me with the suggestion that we move the games from Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, and Quebec down to San Diego to be played there where the weather was warmer. And also on New Year's Eve, it was Cologan's birthday, and we presented him with a bullwhip, which the players thought was quite humorous.
He got... Bill, thanks very much.
Yes.
You're watching the 5th annual WHA All-Star Game from Hartford. Well, we've still got 20 minutes of hockey to go in this 5th annual WHA All-Star Game. The officials have returned to the ice. It's still 2-1, the East leading the West. There was no scoring in the second period, though the West did get 20 shots on goal. Much to the delight of this near sellout crowd here at the Civic Center. We're only 100 or so short of a sellout. They enjoy watching the other goaltenders work and then watching the fine lines move the puck around. They haven't scored. I was about to say they scored. I think we're going to see an even more wide open third period. It promises to be very interesting. Let's take a look at some of that action right now. Here's the play with Tremblay in the corner. Watch the shot out front right here from Ferguson, and the shot on Garrett. What a save right there. John Garrett, Birmingham Bulls, with one big save. There were many big saves during the second period. As we watch the officials coming on the ice, we will have an opportunity to take a deep breath and anticipate the third period. Here come the West All-Stars through the gate. Good look at Ron Harris. Here are the All-Stars now. They will be led in the net this period by Joe Daly from the Winnipeg Jets. Well, we're still waiting for the Eastern Division All-Stars. Waiting for the Eastern Division All-Stars to arrive. And here they come, led by John Garrett. Tardif, Abrahamson, Lyle, Parizeau, names that the WHA cities around this great country of ours all know and watch and enjoy. And I'll tell you, if you're anywhere near a WHA city, it will pay to check the schedule and come and watch some of these exciting young hockey players. The New England Whalers, for example, will be playing here at the Hartford Civic Center on this Thursday when they entertain the Quebec Nordiques. This Saturday, the Indianapolis Racers will be in town. Houston Aeros play at a great building in Houston, Texas, the Summit. Bob Lamy is back to join us.
Well, the Birmingham Bulls have a game tomorrow night at home against the Quebec Nordiques. The Racers of Indianapolis are home with Player Appreciation Night on Friday night. The Calgary Cowboys and Don McLeod, the opposition there. There are an awful lot of games throughout the entire WHA coming up. We've got an excellent second half of the season, Bill. Great races in both divisions right now, with Quebec holding a 5-point lead over Cincinnati and Indianapolis in the East. And, of course, in the West, San Diego has a 3-point lead over the Houston Aeros and the Winnipeg Jets. So, as a matter of fact, they extended it to 5 with a 5-2 win over Birmingham on Sunday. So, both divisions very, very close, and we've got just about 40 games left on everybody's schedule.
This program is made possible by grants from Avco Financial Services Incorporated and Connecticut General Insurance Corporation. Third period underway. Bob, if this one's as exciting as the first two, it's just going to be a scorcher of a finish. Here we go.
Still expect a wide-open game. Still expects a lot more goals scored than we've had, but great goaltending has been the secret so far.
I think that we may see even more wide-open play this period because there are just too many gunners down there. I didn't add up the goals of the starting forward lines, but I know that all you look at when you see the scoring statistics from the league, the top 5 or 6 say Winnipeg, Winnipeg, Quebec, Quebec, Winnipeg, Quebec. And their two lines are playing against each other right now. Hedberg can't come up with it. Nilsson does. Turns, holds. Point, and a quick shot from Schmier. Tipped wide. Hedberg and Nilsson again. Back it comes Tremblay. And they break it out. Cloutier to Bernier. And Bernier throws it through the slot looking for Tardif, not there. Instead, Bobby Howe turns it up ice with his line mates. Howe to the red line, loses it to Tremblay. Schmier. Bernier can't connect with Tardif. Nilsson. Bergman has it. Ahead and Hedberg. And he's in. Stops. Loses it to Tremblay.
JC's everywhere.
Hey, he's everywhere, and he looks like he's not moving at all, but he's there. Gives it to Tardif. They throw it in. The play is onside. Paul Schmier. This is Tommy Bergman.
You know, the defensive core on both teams a little bit unsung as far as the offensive gunnery here, but the defensemen on both sides have just played outstanding hockey here tonight.
J.C. Tremblay starts it up, knocked away by Gordie Howe. You know, when you sit here and you mention these names, name after name, everyone is a big star, and you think that you're there, and then you come up with some bigger ones. This is Kevin Morrison taking it away from Fatorik. Gordie Howe comes up with it. Back to Morrison. Well, Gordie Howe tried to lay that one out for Norris, but instead it had to go all the way across to Morrison, and he throws it on in. Garrett, casual, elbow up on the crossbar, watches Whitey Stapleton. That's confidence. He knows what's happening back there, he figures, so that takes care of that. This is Ronnie Plum from the Cincinnati Stingers. Goes left to Bernier. Bernier couldn't handle a pass. Rolls behind the net. Kicked it. It was in his skates. Plum tries to come up with it. They work it out to Cam Connor. Connor. Norris. Back to Connor. Connor shot. Save. Garrett into the crowd.
Pointed case there, the young players coming up. George Lyle with an excellent playback checking there. The Avco Cup, emblematic of the playoff championship in the World Hockey Association, won last year by the Winnipeg Jets, defeating the Houston Aeros in the final round of the playoff. Houston had won it the prior 2 years, and of course, New England has one of those trophies in their case also.
And that's what all of the teams in the WHA will be playing for come this spring. Come the second week in April, the Avco playoffs start. Play is underway again. Gordie Howe pulled down by John Hughes. Puck rolls out front. Norris can't handle it. Norris, nice move away from Plum on his knees. Norris still battles. And then he finally lost it, but Popeil's at the line to hang on and keep it in the corner for Cam Connor. Connor in deep to Norris. Norris to Morrison. This is the Arrows and the Mariners against the world here. This is Connor again. Tries to throw it through. There's Norris in tight. And Connor and he both banned on a shot or an attempted pass. Didn't make it. Up it comes to Morrison. Morrison off the right wing boards for Gordie Howe. Has to turn back to the red line. Tries to send Morrison in. Can't do it. And it goes to Popeil at his own blue line. This is Ronnie Plum. Gordie Howe just kind of strolls back and takes it away. Popeil to Norris. He's in. Norris from the from the San Diego Mariners to Cam Connor. Throws it out front. Bounced around in front of John Garrett. He's got to be the most unconcerned guy in the world, Bob, with the puck loose in front of him. Doesn't make any difference. Mark Napier, Mike Rogers. Shot turned aside by Cam Connor before it ever got through to Joe Daly. Here they come again. Breaking on the right side is Gordie Howe. He got a piece of it with his stick, so it's a good play. John Hughes wheels it around the boards. Mark Napier is there. Instead, though, it's Willie Lindstrom coming up with it as the West changing on the fly. Willie in the corner throws it behind the net. Gordie Howe tries to put it out front. Ron Plum there, however. That's Barry Wilkins, number 5. Top of the slot. Score! Willie Lindstrom.
Play set up, though, at the point, Bill, by Barry Wilkins. Made a good play to keep the puck in and stick handled around the defense. Came to that left-hand face-off circle in the slot, and Willie the Wisp put it home. Tie it up at 2-2.
Number 20.
Here's the play, Bob.
Yes, it is. Barry Wilkins throws it right out in the slot, and Willie Lindstrom makes no mistake. Right over the shoulder of John Garrett, and it's a 2-2 hockey game. Lindstrom, a 20-goal scorer already this season, plus from the Winnipeg Jets. Outstanding player.
Number 20, Willie Lindstrom.
And here's a shot the other way that Joe Daly reaches up and grabs. You know, we talk about a little bit of the fun, Bob, that these players have, and they really enjoy this particular game. And The Winnipeg Jets and Calgary Cowboys checked in at the hotel yesterday together. The next whistle remind me, and I'll tell you a funny story how these guys from different teams just really have a lot of fun with each other. And one of the perpetrators is one you won't suspect. Down the middle, Andre Lacroix, and they couldn't handle it. Norm Ferguson with Terbenci. Here comes Ralph Backstrom. He can't get it over the line. It's going to be hauled away, though, by Andre Lacroix. Wilkins, Lacroix. In front, there's Wilkins. Shot, save, and where is it? It's knocked aside that time by Gordie Roberts with a lot of help from his friends. Back behind the net, Tommy Abrahamson. Tommy A slides it ahead. This is Richard Leduc. Play is good. Hear the calls of the linesman, the referee, and everyone. I wanted to tell you about yesterday when they were checking in. Alf Nilsson came up and said at the check-in, Paul Terbenci. And Paul Terbenci comes in and says, "Hi, I'm Alf Nilsson." He fooled some people. Here's the replay. Watch this action.
Backhanded shot coming up here as they slide it back to the point. Now watch the good defensive play here, as there wasn't much on the shot that Wilkins got. Richie Leduc right here in the slot making a big play to take what could have been an easy goal from Barry Wilkins' stick. The puck's still loose in front, but you can see how Gordie Roberts had the play figured all the way. He was right in the right spot, whipped the mask off, and made the great save. And says defensemen aren't supposed to do that.
14 minutes, 50 seconds to go. We're tied at 2 in the 5th annual All-Star game. This is Robbie Fatorik trying to walk in, and Whitey Stapleton's there to take the play away. The racer line is out there with Hugh Harris, Blair McDonald, and Parizeau. This is Stapleton. He gets it up to Parizeau. Parizeau right to McDonald. He tries to go back, can't do it. Fatorik knocks it down and turns it around 2-on-2. Little Robbie whistles one, save Garrett. Stapleton clears. Schmier at center ice. McDonald to Parizeau. Knocked away, 3-on-2 West. Fatorik near boards. Glides in. Through the slot to Del Hall, knocked off his stick. Back the other way come the racer line. Parizeau left. Drops it. Harris. Shot. Save out front. Nobody there for the East. Parizeau, though, keeps it in. Behind the net. Harris. Still controlling. All the way around, and are they going to get a whistle on this one? Well, no, it's still loose. They kept it away from the boards. Someplace under Danny Lawson. Out it comes, finally to Del Hall. Hall steps over the red line and dumps it in, and the West Stars head for the bench. Hugh Harris, Indianapolis Racers, number 7 in the white. Loses the puck to Hedberg, gets it right back, gives to Serge Bernier. Imagine that you would like to have Serge Bernier as one of the centers on the Racers and be looking to take some passes. I know he's got some fine ones, but Serge isn't too bad. One of the best. Stapleton goes in the corner. They're going to freeze it near the... No, they're not going to freeze it. Instead, it's going to be pulled loose by Bobby Hull. And Hull and Bobby Hull and Pat Stapleton come together. Former teammates. Puck is deflected wide. Harris behind the net. Ronnie Plum. Plum makes it look easy to the blue line. To Harris. Tries to flip it through. And we have a delayed offside indicated, but the West will bring it out. Paul Popeil. So the whistle does not blow. Alf Nilsson. In front. Hedberg didn't have enough. He was falling away, or he would have beaten Chichi on that one. Out front it comes. Hedberg again. In front. Nilsson scrambling, coming up for the puck, and he got behind the goal line now. Hedberg is there to help out. Puck goes to the far boards, and Serge Bernier breaks it out. He's got Mark Tardif and Kuche down. He walks in. A shot, save, rebound. Is turned back behind the net out front. Kuche!
Oh, what a goal! What a play by John Hughes behind the net. Again, defenseman in on all the play. Popeil argues, Morrison argues, but the East leads 3-2. Hughes fed Kuche right on the post, and he flipped it home. Big play by John Hughes again, hard-working defenseman from Cincinnati.
Wait till you see that one. There's John Hughes.
There's John Hughes who set it up. Lots of times you look at the goal and you forget the guy who made the assist. There's a big, big play by John Hughes from Cincinnati.
2 minutes, 3 seconds to go to the mid-break in the third period. And if you're unfamiliar with World Hockey Association play, we'll tell you what we mean by the mid-break, Bob, next time we get a chance. Back to the action. Listen to this crowd. Do they enjoy this game? They're really getting their money's worth tonight and enjoying a lot of hockey. Look at Turner fly down the right side. He's in. His shot off the leg of Barry Wilkins goes wide. Play really picking up.
Scored by number 9,
Another play by John Hughes.
Now they're going. Look at this. Yeah, that's Fournier. Boom, shot. Oh, big side. This one will not be icing. It comes on to Garrett. We're going to have a whistle. Let's take a look at that last goal by Riyad Fournier, Bob. Here it is.
All right, Serge Bernier comes in right in cold turkey on Rutledge. Rutledge with a big save. Now watch Wayne look behind him to see where it is. No, it's not there, Wayne. It's out in the corner. Blue Jay surrounds it, goes behind the net, gives it to John Hughes. Now watch Hughes. The big play here. Right around the net, right on Blue Jay's stick, right off the post. Thank you very much, 3-2 East. Blue Jay's 4th goal in 2 All-Star games. But again, heads-up play by defenseman John Hughes, and a pinpoint pass right on his stick, right where he could shoot it in the net.
And
Jacques Demers happy?
Oh,
he's chewing the gum again.
He's chewing the gum tonight, and we're going to see Ron Fournier here get set to drop the puck. Hold everything, says Ron Harris. Comes over.
I think he told Bobby Crom and Kevin Morrison, you think guys don't want to win this game? Look at the coach, Bobby Crom, and look at Kevin Morrison. They're both upset with Ron Harris. I'm not sure why. The puck in the net, it was 3-2.
Here's a shot for Tommy Abrahamson. Hit the post, rebound, scored! George Lyle!
Oh, that'll bring him down here.
That'll bring down the house. Look at him up in the air now. And George Lyle.
What a shot from the point, though. That was the big play on the goal.
Again.
Allowed the rebound.
That's right, again.
Here's the face-off. Right back to the left point. Watch the shot home. Big shot from the point. Rebound Daly, clears it out. Lyle smokes it right behind him, and it's 4-2. George Lyle, a rookie, his first goal.
Wait till you hear this one. George Lyle! Well, now I guess that really makes the fans here in Hartford. Number 20, Mike
Rogers on the face-off, and Tommy Abrahamson, all Whalers. Two of them adding to the squad after injuries. Tommy Abrahamson replacing reliable defenseman Ricky Lee, and Mike Rogers in to replace Dave Keon. All 3 Whalers on the play, and a beautiful, beautiful goal in Hartford.
35. Well, we said we thought it'd open up, but when the Whalers scored, Bob, this place really went wild. 4-2 East. And another one, they're firing now. They are really opening it up. We have 1:05 to go to the mid-break, 11:05 to go in the hockey game. I wanted you to explain that mid-break in World Hockey Association play.
Well, on the international rules, Bill, will be switching ends. Both goaltenders will switch ends of the rink at the mid-break. But unlike regular season games, if this one should end in a tie, there will be no overtime. So we just hope, well, let's keep the good game going. We've had an excellent third period.
When I saw Bobby Crom up off the bench, maybe there would be an overtime. They might get together and say, are you kidding me? We're going to go. Oh, down the middle goes Lyle again. Offside, though. Wouldn't.
Had the glove up, but I think he was offside anyway.
Right. The way Bobby Crom was up with Kevin Morrison with that last comment for Ron Harris, they may say, are you kidding? We play
all the way.
We're going to play all the way. 53 seconds to go to the change of ends. 4-2, the East leads. Let's catch up on those last 2 goals very quickly. Luce at 7:57, Lyle at 8:35. 2 Lightning goals just 38 seconds apart. Joe Daly.
Again, defenseman set him up. It's been a defenseman's game so far, really. The goaltending and defenseman, John Hughes set up the Kluche goal, and Tommy Abrahamson with a really big shot from the point set up Lyle's. Daly made a good save, but the rebound, he just couldn't find one. Right to Lyle, right to net.
And here we go again. This is Tommy Bergman. Norm Ferguson chasing it. Tries to flip it in. Tommy A knocks it down. Sends Rogers away. To Mark Napier. Napier tries to waltz through. Schmier. And Bergman can't do it. Willie Lindstrom to Ferguson. Abrahamson knocks it away again. Paul Schmier has it. Mike Rogers runs it to Paul Schmier. That doesn't happen too much in the regular season, Bob. Much less in the All-Star. Here's a shot again from Schmier. It's tipped wide. as the period's winding down. Let's see if this one's going to be icing. No icing. They wave it off. Ron Fournier, the linesman. We're in the final 10 seconds of the first half of the third period with the East leading 4-2. Andre Lacroix dumps it in. Garrett with the easy save. He's going to wheel it off to the side and get the... And Willie Lindstrom
And Gordie Roberts.
Gordie Roberts collide, and that's Gordie Roberts being caught in the net. Little Willie is a slight-built fellow, Willie the Wisp.
He hits you pretty hard, I'll tell you.
And listen to this crowd at the halfway mark. Watch this play. Here's Garrett, Bob, and he runs right into him right here. Hello.
There's some NFL action, you'll see. Oh. And Gordie, I think, just lost his balance. He was all right. He was alive. I think he got his skate tangled up in the netting. Wasn't really knocked down by the check, but got his heel of his skate caught in the meshing there and couldn't get out. Still 4-2. This one's a long way from being over with that West firepower.
Oh, it sure is. There you see it. The final 10 minutes showing on the clock. Here's Richard Leduc, Cincinnati Stingers, fine hockey player. He's got Ralph Backstrom to his left. He's got Dennis Sobchuk to his right. Backstrom from the New England Whalers, Sobchuk from the Cincinnati Stingers. Oop, Willie forgot something as Lacroix dropped it back for him, and Dennis Sobchuk comes the other way. He fires one in, Spear clears after Daly knocked it down.
The hitting that wasn't supposed to be there is there, Bill. Everybody working hard.
Here's Andre, one-on-one. He's got Willie coming with him. Tried to put it through the legs of J.C. Tremblay. It always looks like he might have misplayed it, but he always gets a piece of the puck, and it goes wide. Tremblay. This is Schmier. Whoops, Ferguson left the puck. Stapleton comes over to take it away from him. Lindstrom takes it away from Whitey. Lindstrom, hard work, drops it back, intending for Lacroix, no dice. Tremblay sends it ahead. Leduc is in to Backstrom. Nope, couldn't get it through Schmier. Schmier to Lacroix, goes to Stapleton instead. Right side, Tremblay. Ahead, Backstrom. Backstrom breaking. Schmier is there. Ralph Backstrom circles the net. Holds. Back to the point. Stapleton, a shot. Backstrom with a rebound behind the net as the East squad puts on some pressure. Stapleton again from the point. Fires it, knocked down Schmier. Ferguson, Lacroix walking in 2-on-1 with Willie the Wisp. And again, J.C. Tremblay. Up and down action. How about this hockey game? Walking right through. Flipped by Leduc, held by Daly, and it's still a 4-2 game with 8:35 to go. Bobby?
Still been a great defenseman's game. Back J.C. Tremblay breaking up a 2-on-1 break. Pat Stapleton made a big play a while ago, and we got the shot back from the point. Now watch this. Walking in 2-on-1. J.C. Tremblay breaks up Lacroix's pass as he tries to flip it over on the open wing, but J.C.'s right back there, the veteran defenseman that he is. Willie Lindstrom couldn't get the pass, and J.C. started it out. There's Bobby Crom, who was upset at that third goal. He has to be even more upset with his Western squad trailing by the score of 4-2 and 8:35 left to play. And there's Alan Glassbell, one of the linesmen tonight, who has done an excellent job along with Ron Fournier and referee Ron Harris.
Face-off coming to the left of Joe Daly. Little Robbie Fatorik and little Michel Perizot. Here we are, back to the point, John Hughes. And quickly, though, broken up Fatorik. He's got Danny Lawson right. He's got the puck. He's in. He shoots. Save Garrett. Nothing to it, Mom. Put the glove up here and hang on, he says.
So your son wants to be a goaltender, does he? John Garrett from the Birmingham Bulls. There's Robbie Fatorik of the Phoenix Roadrunners, always up among the league leading scorers and the highest scoring ever American-born player from Massachusetts. He and Michel Perizot on the draw here, as you mentioned, represent two of the little fellas in the league.
And the East, Hugh Harris brings it out. Captain of the Indianapolis Racers. Dumps it in as he comes over the red line. Blair McDonald, his teammate, throws it out front. Nobody there, and back comes Danny Lawson. Second only to Bobby Hull, and goal scored in the WHA. Leaves for Fatorik. Return pass. He's in. Flips it back behind the net. Whoops, there was one of those that wasn't supposed to happen, too, as Ronnie Plum took Lawson back. Fatorik wheels it out to the point. Kevin Morrison is there. Can't get the shot. Tipped all in front by Lawson. Wide. Here down the middle in a hurry, and McDonald trying to beat the two defensemen, but Morrison takes it away. Back to Del Hall. Robbie Fatorik. Hughes broke it up. Hughes, number 10 in white. Plum, number 4 in white. Right side, Danny Lawson. He's in. Lawson trying to work it out front. Can't do it. A little scramble along the near boards, and Ron Harris blows the whistle. as we see the bodies getting untangled with 7:29 to go here, Bob, in the hockey game, assuming there's not a tie. 4-2. We assume that it would be that way even if there's a tie, but when you mentioned that Bobby Crum, I don't know. Who knows what might happen? Just kidding, folks, really. Ahead to Bernier. Bernier, left side and in. Moves to the slot, fires wide. Bernier centers. Try to score! Number 8, Mark Tardif. As you just got a quick look at one of the all-time WHA greats, watch this. Here's Bernier, comes in, right in the slot. There's the shot, wide of Rutledge. Bernier follows his own shot, pulls it out, right out in front. And here's Mark Tardif, drives it home from right on the doorstep.
Pat Stapleton and number 21, Serge Bernier.
Stapleton and Bernier, 12 and 21, get the assists.
56 seconds.
Here's Nilsson.
From Tremblay.
Tremblay to Bernier. Taken away, they try to slide it for Hull, can't do it. Instead, the other way, it's Coutier. Right side, Bernier. Shot, hit the post. Hit the post, or it would have been 3-1. Bobby Hull as they come out 2-on-2. Hull with Nilsson. In he goes. He's spun around, and we're going to have a penalty. The first of the game. And Ron Harris indicates this will be a hooking call. Number 9, Real Coutier. Let's listen to Ron Harris.
Number 9, hooking.
Referee Ron Harris. Number 9, Real Coutier. Let's take a look at a little bit of offensive action just before that penalty. Here's the man who's in the box. This is when he's on offense. This is Coutier. Moves it to his teammate on the Nordiques. Bernier fires, and bang, right there off the post. Wayne Rutledge looks around and says, uh-oh, that one was past him, but now it's a West power play. And look at the troops they have out there. Bergman and Schmier on defense. Norris with Howe and Cam Connor up front. Here's Gordie Howe, right side, and in, hit the post. Well, we've had 2 of them as he hit the post. Or we would have had a tie game. Puck quickly cleared down the ice. 4:11 to go. First period, 2-1. The East leading the West. That time we had Hugh Harris knocked down. They thought there should be a penalty, but here's Paul Schmier the other way. Schmier is in. Leaves it for Bergman. Knocked down in front, Tommy Abrahamson. He gets it ahead. Dennis Sobchuk in a hurry. Puts a move on Tommy Bergman, but can't make the play, and Bergman comes up with the puck behind the net. Schmier, Gordie Howe, nice move, makes another one, gets it left to Cam Connor. Connor turns it around, back in the middle. Schmier, shot, save, rebound. Nobody there, and Lavassier covers up. We'll have a face-off. Tommy Abrahamson helping Louis Lavassier. There's a flying Swede from the New England Whalers. Here's the replay. Take a look at this. In it goes. Bang. Now it's going to be loose and bouncing around with a lot of blue sweaters. Finally, Lavassier gets it on the pad, and if you saw closely there, it just popped out for an instant, and then they cover it up. This is Paul Schmier. 57 seconds to go on the penalty. Shot goes wide. Norris lets it go to Bergman. Inside, Norris tries to put it in front for the scramble. Nobody there. The Duke can't clear it. This is John Hughes, all from the Cincinnati Stingers. This is Mark Napier. Plum and Hughes, the 2 defensemen, with Richie LeDuc up front. 3 Stingers, Mark Napier, Birmingham Bulls. 18 is LeDuc, chasing the puck out of the zone to the neutral zone. Paul Schmier holding, waiting, and he waited long enough. To Howe. Norris, quick shot, tipped in front, and nope. Nothing doing again. Paul Schmier in looking up close. Got a lot of help, and as Bob Lamey pointed out earlier, not a lot of heavy action around the goaltender. There you see, 2:53 to go, 2-1. The East still leads the West. Richard LeDuc, Cincinnati Stingers, fine hockey player. Face-off, Popeil, Ferguson, Lacroix, Willie Lindstrom, Popeil, Lindstrom again, Lacroix, Willie Lindstrom, save! What a big one by Louis Lavassier! Out to the neutral zone, Popeil turns it around for Lindstrom. The West starts back. Penalty over. There you see Cloutier out. Both teams at full strength right side. Ferguson shot. Save again. Lavoisier. Out to the neutral zone. Lacroix battling the puck. Turns it around and starts it back the other way. This is Willie Lindstrom. Quick shot. Kicked wide and up into the crowd. Both teams changing as we take a look at Wayne Rutledge, a veteran, and there's the East Division bench. Jacques Demers, the coach of the Indianapolis Racers, and in the background you saw the trainer, Eddie Swiss. 2 minutes, 10 seconds to go here, first period. 5th Annual World Hockey Association All-Star Game from the Hartford Civic Center, Hartford, Connecticut. Brand new complex, beautiful complex, just opened in its second full hockey season. Now we're set to go with the business at hand, the hockey down on the ice. Left point, Morrison fires one, kicked out. Andre Lacroix chasing. Lyle and Stapleton take it away, and this is Lyle. Right wing, Napier. Napier is in. Hooked away. Quickly, Morrison. Back it comes to Morrison. Can't get past J.C. Tremblay, though. Tremblay wheels it around the boards. Gets rid of all the pursuit, then slams it around the corner to Mark Napier on the right side. Stapleton. Lyle. Lyle is in. Leads for Rogers. Rogers still holding. Dumps it in the corner. Popeil is there. Just a minute and a half to go in period number 1. The East All-Stars leading the West All-Stars 2-1. Puck in center ice on the stick of Stapleton. This will be icing if Rutledge lets it go. And they do manage to get the icing with a minute and 21 seconds to go. We're getting some notes here about some trades that have been completed, and we'll have to talk about those in a little bit of time. Looks like the New England Whalers have come up with some players in this 7-player deal with Edmonton, and we'll catch you up to date on those as soon as we can. We have got just a minute 17 seconds to go as George Lyles chases the puck. Can't follow it up, though, and the West comes right back. Del Hall taken away by Napier. Number 11 in white, Mark Napier. Flipped wide. Rogers chasing it.
1 minute. Play period. 1 minute.
We're in the final minute of play. As that stops the play, and we get a face-off with 56 seconds to go. There's quite a collection of stars. The East Division All-Stars for this 5th Annual WHA game. There are their compatriots out on the ice. Face-off to the right of Rutledge. Final minute of play, period number 1. Tommy Abrahamson could not keep it in at the left point. Parizeau to Harris. Harris throws it in front for McDonald. Can't come up with it. This is Robbie Fatorik for the West, number 8. Taken away, Tommy A. Tommy A. circles behind his own net. Half minute to go. First period. It's Gordie Roberts. Roberts being harassed by Del Hall. Here's Gordie starting it down the middle. Long rush. Fires wide of the net. 22 seconds to go as the West's Robbie Fatorik fires ahead. Danny Lawson has Del Hall breaking. Can't come up with it. Gordie Roberts knocks Hall to the ice. Puck picked up and sent out of trouble very quickly by Parizeau. Just 7 seconds to go. Behind the net, Lavoisier stops it. Sends it left. Hugh Harris, clock winding down. And that's going to be all there is in period number 1. And after one period, the East is leading the West Division All-Stars 2-1. In the first period, the first goal scored by J.C. Tremblay, that coming at 11:17. At 11:58, Paul Schmier tied it at 1. Then Mark Tardif put the East ahead, and the time of that goal, 14:56. As we get a good look at these Eastern Division, there's J.C. Tremblay, the goal scorer, right there. Really enjoying this game. Many of them you see with smiles on their faces. And they kind of enjoy this. They get a chance to relax, renew some acquaintances. Fix on that for you during this particular intermission, if we can, and if not, certainly before we go off the air. Okay, we have Bob Lamey standing by with a star of the first period. And let's go down now with Bob Lamey and his guest.
We're talking with last year's most valuable player on the United States team and a fellow who scored the goal for the West tonight, Paul Schmier from San Diego. And Paul, it's interesting, they say this is an offensive game when you play in the All-Star game, yet the defensemen have played a key role tonight.
Well, I think most of the defensemen that we have on the All-Star team are offensive defensemen. If you look at all the players out there, all our defensemen have a big number of points halfway through the year, and I think the WHA is trying to stress, a little more offensive and make it a little more exciting for the fans.
Paul, what about your goal? You kind of came out of nowhere, and I don't think Louis saw you coming.
Well, no, he didn't. In fact, there was a backhand shot, and it was just dropped right there, right at my feet, so all I had to do was just put it in. I was more surprised than anybody else.
Paul, you've been around this league for a long time. What about the young talent in the WHA, the Mark Napiers, the George Lyles, and others?
Boy, they're terrific. I'm telling you, the future that they've got is just unbelievable. They're the Gordie Howes and the Bobby Hulls of the future.
Paul, your hockey club in San Diego has gotten off to a great start, and I think keyed on defense, you, Kevin Morrison, and the rest of them out there. What about the Mariners for the rest of the season?
Well, we're in first place now, and I think we can stay there. We've got a very strong goaltending, good defense, and our forwards lines are well balanced. So it's going to take Winnipeg or Houston. It's going to take a good effort on their part to knock us out of the top spot.
Paul, they say all-stars. Sometimes the players that come to games like this don't really care about an all-star game. What does an all-star game mean to a Paul Schmier?
Well, to me it means a lot because, I feel I'm very fortunate to be here, and I go out there and I'm sure nobody's going to hit anybody, or I'm not going to either, but you try to show your stick handling, your shooting, and maybe breaking up, making some good defensive plays out there, and so it's always an honor for anybody to be picked, no matter what they say.
What about playing with the great old guy Gordie Howe and Bobby Hull for the first time on an all-star team?
Oh, they're terrific. Those two guys are my favorite guys of all time, not only in hockey, but they're supermen too.
Okay, when you play against a Gordie Howe, Paul, are you conscious in your own mind about a legend, or do you just go out and play the game?
Well, I think I was at first, but now I know Gordie pretty well, and we talk back and forth. I call him an old goat and all that stuff, and but you still have to watch him. He's a tremendous player.
All right, tonight's hockey game, do you see it staying close the rest of the game, or maybe more wide open the last two periods?
I think it'll be just pretty well the same. It's going to be wide open. I think the score will probably be about 6-5 or something like that, or maybe even more, because that's the type of two teams we've got out here. They're all playing offensive.
You're playing with a guy like Robbie Fatorik for the first time, a little guy. You see him from the opposition. Is he that good?
Oh, he's terrific. He's probably the fiercest competitor I've ever played against, and I'm just glad he's on my side for a change.
You got another little guy out there, Andre Lacroix. It's going to be interesting. I think Bobby Crom said he might put Hull and Howe between Andre Lacroix.
Oh, wouldn't that be a line? Andre, they call him the magician, the wizard, and all that stuff, and I've had the pleasure of playing with him this year, and he's just a terrific player.
Paul, this is a great hockey game here tonight. I think one of the things that makes it great, the crowd. You've got to sell out or very close to it.
Yeah, it's the crowd's been very good. They appreciate not only the goals, but when there's been some good checks out there or a good breaking up of a play, they've applauded fairly well. So, we'll try to give them a good show if we can, and we'll just keep plugging out there.
Paul Schmier, outstanding defenseman in the WHA last year, goal scorer this year, and we'll be back in a moment. Right now, let's go up to Bill Rasmussen and some highlights of the first period.
Thanks, Bob Lamey, and enjoyed your comments with Paul Schmier. This gentleman standing with me now is the chairman of the board of the World Hockey Association, the chief executive officer, Mr. Ben Haskin. And Ben, if the first period and what's happened so far is any indication, this is just a successful and a lot of fun time for everyone watching, even though you've got some serious business at hand.
Oh, it's been great. Yesterday the banquet was great, and today the hockey game. When you can see sellouts and the people here are very enthusiastic about the World Hockey Association. It's just been 2 great days, and it looks like a great hockey game out there, Bill.
Well, I think one of the interesting things that has come out of your meetings already is an innovative step that the World Hockey Association has taken, and it happened so recently, like within the matter of the last several hours. I'm sure most of our viewers have not become aware of a step that you have taken involving some international competition.
Yes, we're going to put in a plan for next year where we're going to play 4 of the European countries, which are Russia, Czechoslovakia, Sweden, and Finland. And we're going to put them in our schedule. In other words, when they come over and play here, every time we play one of these European teams, it's going to be 2 points for whoever wins. Their 2 points aren't going to count in their standing, but it's going to count in our standing, Phil. And I think that by doing that, we can cut down on our schedule. We'll still have 40 home games, but we're only going to go on the road for 36 games, and that is the thing that the World Hockey needs, is this international hockey, and it's been very successful with the Czechoslovakians and the Russians when they came over here.
If the recent success that you've just mentioned is any indication, now incorporating it into a regular schedule has just got to be such a positive step, and the fans really will be turning out, I would imagine, to see those games, because it's an exciting brand of hockey when those European teams are here.
Well, we're hoping, Bill, when you put in your season tickets, that we can sell all the rinks out with the season tickets, because, you know, tickets for these games are very hard to get, and that's one of the things that we're looking forward to get the people in the rink to see what type of hockey we do play. In this Russia series, we won 2 games, but the other league, they won 2 games too when the Russian club teams came over. We remember playing the international teams. That's pretty good, and I think when we played the Czechs, we won 4 games and they won 2, so you're seeing pretty good hockey in this league.
That's certainly the truth. Ben, one of the reasons that this league is growing and is as strong as it is many of your young executives, and we have one that's about to receive an award standing right behind us. We want to thank you for taking just a minute to come up and talk with us. We're looking forward to the international competition next year, and I know you're eagerly awaiting it as well.
Thanks, Bill, and it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm sure for many, many more years we're going to have great all-star games, and thanks again.
Mr. Ben Hatskin, Chairman of the Board and Chief Executive Officer of the World Hockey Association. Now standing beside me and coming into our picture is the publisher of the Hockey News, the International Hockey Magazine, and Mr. Bill DeWitt from the Cincinnati Stingers. Ken McKenzie from the Hockey News, I'll let you explain exactly what you're doing here with this hardworking WHA executive.
Well, Bill, every year the Hockey News selects the outstanding executive, coach, and player in hockey, both the National Hockey League and the World Hockey Association. And in 1975-76, the editors of the Hockey News selected Bill DeWitt Jr., the executive vice president of the Cincinnati Stingers, as the executive of the year. And we thought his record in assembling a new team in this league and building that beautiful $20 million arena and heading up such a fine organization, he was a head-on winner all the way. It was almost unanimous with all our editing staff, and it's just a pleasure to be here tonight to make this presentation to Bill DeWitt Jr. Bill, on behalf of the Hockey News.
Ken, thank you very much. It's a great honor to be selected as Hockey Executive of the Year by the Hockey News, which we consider, and I think people around hockey do, as the #1 publication in hockey, and I'd like to thank you for it. It's a tribute to our organization. I'd like to thank them, and it's a real pleasure.
Thank you, Bill. Ken McKenzie, thank you very much. Bill DeWitt, congratulations, and thank you for coming up here. Continued success in Cincinnati.
Very good. Thanks a lot.
Ken McKenzie, the publisher of Hockey News, and Bill DeWitt from the Cincinnati Stingers, the Executive of the Year in the WHA. Well, the officials are returning to the ice, and momentarily we'll be getting set to go back to some more action in this 5th annual World Hockey Association All-Star Game. The score after the 1 period is the East 2 and the West 1. Well, the first period has ended with the East leading 2-1. We'll take just a brief look at some of the highlights of that first period action. Some high-powered hockey players provided lots of excitement, starting off with this one by J.C. Tremblay. Watch, Leduc slips it right to Dennis Sobchuk, his teammate on the Stingers. Now watch, right out of midair, J.C. Tremblay knocks it down, bang, 1-0 the East. That goal coming at 11 minutes, 17 seconds of the first period. Before another minute had gone by, however, we had a tie hockey game on our hands as Paul Schmier from in close, after some heavy work by Lindstrom and Lacroix, Here you see Willie Lindstrom in the helmet. Steps away from Ferguson, starts it out front. He'll get his shot right there. The puck is loose, however, as Levasseur couldn't cover it. And here's Schmier in a big hurry, charging down the right wing side. Bangs it home, and we're tied at 1. That goal coming at 11:58. Then the East took a 2-1 lead on another pretty goal by the Frenchman. Here's Serge Bernier coming in, makes his shot. It's wide, comes off the backboards. Serge follows it all the way over the goal line, flips it out front to his teammate Mark Tardif, right in the slot. And when you let Mark Tardif loose that close, it usually results in a goal, and it did this time. There it is, 2-1. Time of that goal, 14:56. Stapleton is the man that had sent Bernier away on that rush, and that's the way we ended the first period, 2-1, with the East Stars leading the West Stars. Bob Lamy, who we are working very hard to get back in shape, chasing him up and down the stairs here, the Hartford Civic Center, is back with us. There we get a good look at Louis Levasseur getting set to go with the second period. Here's Bobby Hull just getting all the doors closed around. Can I talk to you yet, Bob? Caught your breath?
Certainly.
Ready to go?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, go get him. What's
Get
happening? Anybody?
Well, yeah, I didn't see the third goal, but certainly the West put an awful lot of pressure on the East. I think what the shots were 18-7. Is that what it was? 18-7 in the first period.
18-7.
And Louis Levasseur so far the difference.
He certainly is. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk to him later before the game is over. Who
Hey,
knows?
just do that.
Okay. Play is underway in the second period of the 5th annual WHA All-Star Game, and Whitey Stapleton wheels it around the boards. Get things underway here. This is Cloutier, Tardif, and Bernier up front, Tremblay and Stapleton in defense. That's not a bad hockey team. Just don't even worry about the other teammates down there.
Be tough to go the full route, but those guys, an awful good pass into Howe. Anders Hedberg, deep in the corner, fires one around the boards, back to Paul Schmier at the point. Schmier sends it in, and Paul has it poked away by Pat Stapleton, but Bobby Hull picks it off.
I think Paul Schmier is just enjoying himself no end here. He's having a good time. He scored the goal, and he seems to really enjoy playing in these affairs. There's a quick shot. Last year, you recall, Bob, he was the MVP.
Yes, he was for the American team.
For the U.S. He keeps it in at the point again. We got to tell him to redo his hairstyle, though, because he looks too much like Bobby Hull for us, right?
Is that what it was?
There's the shot that Louis Levasseur kicks out, and this is Tardif. Nice move. Cloutier and Bernier bring it the rest of the way. Bernier swinging wide to the right and in. Knocked out quickly. Up in center ice, Norris and Hedberg and Nilsson go to work. A shot turned aside. This is Hedberg turning the net in the corner, right point for Popeil. He can't do much with it, though, and then he gets some help from Hedberg. Stapleton. Tardif. Morrison, the defenseman number 4, patrolling, gives to Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe as the West changes on the fly. Gordie on the off wing, can't handle it, but Morrison is there to help. Shot, kicked out again. I tell you, Mr. Levasseur, here's the 2-on-1 with Tardif, Bernier, and Cloutier working. It's in the middle of Tardif. He's in tight. Tight shot, and Rutledge turned it aside. Popeil brings it out. As you mentioned, Levasseur is playing so well, he's working on that MVP award. We'll be telling you more
Here's
about
the
that.
play for Michel Parizot. Breakaway.
From the Racers is in, hit the post. We have had an awful lot of post shots for any game, Bob, much less an all-star game. This is Joe Norris, number 22, San Diego Mariners, an American-born all-star. Gordie Howe throws top of the slot. Norris again. Oh, didn't get a good piece of that one. Gordie Roberts goes behind the net with Gordie Howe. The younger named for the elder in that case. Scramble along the near boards, and well, I thought Ron Harris would blow the whistle, but Joe Norris manages to keep the puck moving. Gordie Howe is up with it now. Deep in the corner. Scrambling along the boards, they finally pop it loose, and it comes all the way to Kevin Morrison. Blair McDonald chasing it, couldn't do much with it. Parizot has to wait to get everyone on side. They leave it for Gordie Roberts. He steps in, pushes it in the corner for Hugh Harris, but Rutledge is there to bang it away for Norris. Norris turns it back. This is Morrison. Both Norris and Morrison from the San Diego Mariners. Morrison over the red line, intending a pass for Gordie Howe, didn't work. And the Racers line playing intact here tonight for their coach, Jacques Demers, who is the coach of the Eastern Division All-Stars. Sends it right back in. Popeil, Morrison, Norris.
Trying to send away Connor here.
Well, they almost made it. Cam was looking for that pass along the line, but by the time it came, he couldn't do much with it. Here come the racers. McDonald on the right side with Harris left side, 2-on-1. Hugh Harrison, shot saved. Rebound, Gordie Roberts. Hugh Harris, a dangerous goal scorer.
Especially in this building.
In this building, he loves to play here. He's out there now with Tommy Abrahamson, but they can't control the puck. 2-on the other way, and it's Lacroix back for Cam Connor. Morrison was set up, and Connor took it away. Shot hit the side scramble in front, and finally Lacroix shot it right into Louis Lamassour's pad. And listen to this crowd, Bob. They're really enjoying this game.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's an up-and-down hockey game. Both clubs are having their chances, and right now we're seeing some very hot goaltending from Louis Levasseur and Wayne Rutledge. We're seeing some good back-checking. Good play there by the defense of the East to get back and break up that 2-on-1 with Lacroix and Cam Connor and Kevin Morrison. Well, you never know what's going to happen on that one. 3-on-1.
The way Louis Levasseur is playing in this game so far, I don't know, maybe being traded and all those kinds of things, get a guy up because he was introduced from two different teams and ends up playing just an outstanding first period and so far here in the second. Play is back underway. Another fine young defenseman in the WHA. A lot of young, outstanding hockey players in the WHA. This is John Hughes, number 10. He goes right to another one that's even better, probably, and that's Dennis Sobchuk. Exciting player to watch. Plum from the Stingers fires. Another shot from Sobchuk, turned aside by Rutledge.
Backstrom almost had the rebound also.
Quickly back the other way. Lacroix trying to come up and make something happen, but they shoot it wide of the net. Up and down hockey game. There's Barry Wilkins, spun around and quickly back the other way. Sobchuk tried to leave for Leduc down the middle. This is Backstrom. Slides it through, kicked out behind the net. There's Barry Wilkins. Right point Plum, in tight, throws it through. Backstrom thought he had himself a goal, and it didn't work. Backstrom, number 23. Rutledge thought he had the puck under him. That didn't work either. Here's Ferguson the other way. John Hughes knocks it away. Willie Lindstrom throws it through the goal mouth. Loose puck. Knocked aside by John Hughes. Hughes puts it back to his Stinger teammate and East Division All-Star teammate Ron Plum. Ron Plum, more votes at defenseman than any other defenseman in the WHA for this All-Star game from the league media. This is Backstrom. Still has it. Slides it through. Ralph Backstrom. Ron Plum tries to fire it in. Deflected wide, though. Andre Lacroix behind the net. Backstrom will come up with it. Out front. Quick shot. Save.
Great save by Rutledge off of Leduc.
Leduc thought he had one there, Bob. Quickly the other way. Norm Ferguson. He tries to walk in. Can't make it, though. And Sobchuk comes the other way with the puck. Entertaining hockey up and down. Here's Lindstrom behind the back. Ferguson. Lacroix tipped wide. And George Lyle sends it the length of the ice, and we're going to have icing. Lots of fun, up and down action hockey here at the Civic Center tonight, Bob.
I tell you, this is the entertaining hockey game that the fans paid their way in to see, Bill. Both clubs going at it, both clubs trying to add to their goals. Wayne Rutledge, two big saves off of Richie Leduc here right in front, point blank. Good play by Ralph Backstrom. Ron Plum, with 37 points, is tied for the league lead in scoring among defensemen with Darryl Maggs of Indianapolis. Both have 37. Save from Rutledge upcoming here, right out in front. Now watch Richie Leduc. The Stinger centerman thinks he has one, but Rutledge says no way. And then Richie can't get to the rebound as he's ridden out of the play.
There he is, one of the veterans, long-time professional hockey league goaltender, Wayne Rutledge from the Houston Aeros, and a good one.
Yes, sir.
13:54 to go, second period. Still 2-1 East. There's a quick shot, and Levasseur lost it off to the side. This is Del Hall. Schmier was looking for another one there. Paul, I guess, decides this is an offensive game. I'm going to score a few if he can. Here they come. Mike Rogers, right side to Mark Napier. Tommy Bergman back to Rogers. Rogers off wing and fired it wide. Couldn't quite get it set up. Stapleton keeps it in. Not for long. Schmier battling. Another classic bat. Here's Robbie Fatorik. And he knocks it out. Stapleton at the red line. Right side, Tremblay. Middle, Rogers. Whoops, Rogers forgot something as he spun around looking to make a play. And what he forgot was the puck. Del Hall tries to come in, but he and Fatorik got crossed up there offside. 13-13 to go. There's little Robbie.
We've seen Robbie and Del Hall work some great plays together. That combination plays together in Phoenix. And Del Hall off to his great start in the league. Robbie Fatorik always up among the league leaders in scoring. And you know, oddly enough, always seems to be up there among the league leaders in penalty minutes. He has more than any other Roadrunner also.
Play back in. And speaking of Robbie Fatorik, there he goes. Still controlling it. Look at him battle. Now they break George Lyle loose down the left side. Quick shot. Save. George Lyle is the leading New England Whaler goal scorer, and he's a rookie, a top candidate for Rookie of the Year honors. This is Del Hall going the other way for the West. Stops. Looks out front. Comes all the way to the point. Schmier turns it around, and the shot is loose and knocked wide. Danny Lawson hauls it down. Lawson in front. Stapleton knocks that one away. Hold it.
Got the hand
pass.
Yep.
So that'll get a whistle and get a face-off for the West down in the East zone next to Rutledge. Here's
How valuable was Pat Stapleton? He blocked the shot with a stick there, and then also blocked one with his glove. I know you remember a game right here in this building last year in the playoffs where he took one out of the net that was going in that saved the Indianapolis Racers in that particular hockey game. Pat will stop him with as much finesse as the goaltender.
And he's just a little fella, 5 feet 8 inches tall, but he plays like he's about 9 feet tall.
Very strong.
There's a quick one kicked out. That one from Hedberg. Out there now, Nilsson, Hall, and Hedberg, the Winnipeg Jets line. It's Tommy Abrahamson, New England Whalers, number 22, behind the net. Tommy starts it up, slides it ahead. Morrison has it, sends Hedberg right back, and he's walking in. He loses the puck, knocked wide. Bobby Hull, quick shot wide. Hedberg again behind the net. He's got Hull getting set out front, hoping to get set up out front. Instead goes left point Morrison. Wide. Nobody there to connect. As bodies start to move around a little bit here. A little bit of a surprise. Down the right side, Cloutier. He gives to Tardif. Tardif over skates, gets it in the corner, throws it through. Bernier had himself an open shot. Here's Cloutier, misses the net. Tardif gets it back to the point. Gordie Roberts fires wide. The shooting gallery is on there, Bob.
I think they had Rutledge down, and they were trying to make sure they got it back to the point. Gordie shot it just a little bit wide.
Down the middle the other way, Bobby Hull leaves for Nilsson. Hull is down and trying to play. Hedberg can't come up with it. As good, wide open hockey, but the score still just 2-1 West, trailing by a single goal. All 3 goals coming in a very short span in the first period.
2 of them by defensemen.
And 2 by defensemen. You're so right. Here's Tardif. He scored one of them. He's got the go-ahead goal at this point. Down the right side to Serge Bernier. Puck comes off Bobby Hull's stick, goes right to Bernier. Norris comes up with it though and starts it out. John Hughes is going to knock it down, but Popeil will take it right back to the West. Send Norris in. Knocked wide. Tardif for the East, number 8. Cross ice, his teammate from Quebec. Lost it. That was Cloutier, but in a quick hurry, Gordie Roberts. There are 2 of the outstanding young players in the game. And Gordie steps over the red line and dumps it in. Riyad Cloutier.
I think that's the key to the WHA right now, Bill. Great young stars, the Cloutiers. Tardif is young. A lot of players. Gordie Roberts, you just mentioned.
Mark Napier.
Right.
Gordie Howe. Trying to come back to the point to Cam Connor. He battles with Cloutier on the far side. Howe still has the puck. Still has it. Circles. Puts it behind the net. And Joe Norris couldn't come up with it. Instead, Serge Bernier will bring it away. 10 minutes. 18 seconds to go, second period. Look at Howe working down here with
Good play by Hugh Harris. Broke up a potential shot.
Looks around with a big smile. Hugh came to have a lot of fun and enjoy the game, and he's got the puck on his stick right now. Tries to go to John Hughes, has to go back and get it himself. Bernier. Ronnie Plum trying to get it out of the zone. Cam Connor battles to keep it in. This is Harris. Well, a lot of pucks hitting skates and nobody can get anything started. Here's Connor. Inside now. Norris. Top of the slot, knocked away, and Bernier will bring it out for the East. Bernier. Here's Harris, shot way high in the crowd. Well, Hugh Harris almost got it into the balcony here. There, you see him.
Good block by Barry Wilkins and a good drop pass from Serge Bernier to Hugh Harris, who with 55 points among the top 10 in the scoring in the league, and Hughie almost had a chance to trigger one from Serge Bernier.
Louis Lavasseur, Edmonton Oilers goaltender. In case you have missed it, here now we're going to have a change. This is Joe Daly. Both goaltenders are changing as Louis comes out. Listen to the hand these two get. Levasseur comes over and shakes hands with Wayne Rutledge. John Garrett will be going into the nets for the East. Levasseur comes down. Joe Daly from the Winnipeg Jets comes in for the West. There you see Joe Daly, recently voted the number one goaltender in the Izvestia International Tournament. Joe Daly.
Joe Daly, one of the main reasons the Winnipeg Jets, you know, they talk about the high scoring and the Hulls, the Nilsons and the Head Bears, but without the good goaltending, you can't be up among the top teams in the league. And of course, last year, great goaltending by Daly. John Garrett from
goaltender
either. I have seen him put just some miraculous games together. One of the funnier guys around. The Lake Chichi can really have fun, but he's dead serious when he puts that mask on.
There you see, just about the midway point. 9:40 to go in the second period. The East still leads the West 2-1. In the All-Star games, traditionally they'll change goaltenders at just about the 10-minute mark. And with 20 seconds off, I guess we'll forgive the two coaches, Bobby Crum and Jacques Demers, for not dividing it exactly down the middle, Bob.
Well, Huey Harris was going to get a shot. If Jock had broken up a shot Huey was going to get, there would have been trouble. Both goaltenders, I think, the starting goaltenders, Wayne Rutledge and Louis Levasseur, did an outstanding job, particularly little Louis. Excellent job under a little bit of pressure and faced a few more shots, 18-7 in the first period.
Well, this is an unusual scene that you wouldn't ordinarily see in a regular season game. Both teams changing goaltenders at the exact moment, getting an extended warm-up. They've been sitting on the bench, and there you see Joe Daly working, Robbie Fattori. Robbie looked pretty big in that picture as he skated through. We'll have to tell him we had one of those, because
he looks pretty big when he has the puck and the goaltender sees him coming in, I'll tell you. Because Robbie can really snap the shot off, and one of the most talented players in the league, and one of the hardest working guys. You know, some players' talent comes very, very easy, as you well know, in all sports. It comes very easy to them, but other guys have to work hard. Robbie, both. He's got a lot of natural ability, and he works awful hard at it.
And I'll tell you, he's got a little son that he says he is just so proud of, and all you have to do is mention him and his face lights up. Don't know if he's going to be a little hockey player, but he probably will. Well, I guess that's it, says Ron Harris. We'll kind of get all the boys back on the bench. Anders Hedberg picks up a puck that he was shooting at Joe Daly, flips it up in the crowd. Another souvenir for a fan here at the Civic Center. We're going to have a face-off where there's Ron Harris, the referee. This is a developing league. The officials there. You see Ron Harris with a smile on his face. Everybody's smiling tonight, Bob.
Somebody said something to Ronnie, I can tell you.
I was about to say that he's one of the fine young officials. We have many fine young hockey players. It is a solid league. The interesting announcement about the international competition counting next year by the chairman of the board, Ben Hatchkin, that was made between periods. I'm sure that's going to bring smiles to the faces of many fans as well, because that's great hockey to watch. Play is back underway now. And here's Norm Ferguson.
Huey Harris had a big pass in front to Blair McDonald, just trickled over his stick, or he would have had a good shot on goal.
Lindstrom. There's Trebenci, knocked wide, and back behind the net, Ronnie Plum will come up with it and start it out for the East. Slides ahead. This is Harris. Parizeau. Back to Harris. Offside. 9 minutes, 5 seconds to go, second period. It's 2-1. There's Michel Parizeau. I talked a minute ago several minutes ago, about his little stick. Did you ever measure it? Really, it is about the smallest that we've seen. We talked about it, and there you get a good chance. It looks like he's broken the end of it on top of everything else.
Yeah, Mike plays.
Does he feel there's a reason for that? Is it just his style?
That's just his style. It's a stick that feels comfortable. All the guys have to have one that feels comfortable, and Mike likes that particular one. It works well for him.
Sure does. He's an exciting young player to watch. Here's another one from Indianapolis. McDonald shot. Joe Daly was fooled on that one for a moment and dropped it off on the right side. Well, they come out with it, with Ferguson lugging the puck over the line and in. Just keeps on going. Drops for Lacroix. Top of the slot. Wilkins behind the net from Lindstrom to Lacroix. Trebenci knocked off the puck. Back it comes to his stick, however. Walks right down the slot. The shot saved Garrett.
The West is throwing the puck around very, very well, even though these guys haven't played together. When you've got an Andre Lacroix out there, he makes things happen. Behind the net, he set up the play twice, gave it to Willie Lindstrom. Lindstrom got it back to Trebenci. It was broken up the first time, and Blair McDonald almost cleared it. But Andre Lacroix, when he's got the puck, people are mesmerized. They start watching Andre, and pretty soon he set something up in front of the net, and he almost did there.
And off the ice, he's such a charming French-Canadian. There's the one that was close, but Stableman cleared it. On the ice, though, he's just motion, and he moves everything around. Sticks, elbows, whatever to make the play happen. Quite a hockey player. Here comes Ralph Backstrom from the east, slides down. If it goes no icing, they wave that one off. Puck is loose. Backstrom is in, and he can't get the shot. This is Lindstrom now to Lacroix. Lacroix turning away from Sobchuk. Lacroix with Ferguson on the right gives him the puck. Shot goes, well, wide of the net, and out comes Garrett with Lacroix over to say, careful now, Chi-Chi, don't fall over there, holding that puck out here.
Looked like Cesar Geronimo going after one in center field. He had it all the way, and Andre could have bumped him pretty good there, but it's an all-star game, and Chi-Chi probably yelled at him anyway.
I think we'd see a smile behind that fearsome-looking mask if we could see that. There's a shot quickly from Trevenchi that goes wide, or rather Danny Lawson, and the puck is going to be frozen on the far boards. Still 2-1. The East Stars leading the West Stars. 5th annual World Hockey Association All-Star Game from the Hartford Civic Center, Hartford, Connecticut. Tommy Bergman, premier defenseman of the Winnipeg Jets. Nice pass play. Garrett out to make a big save as Del Hall walked in.
Say the defensemen on the East are getting a big work because the West has been in the East Territory a lot.
Indeed they have. Here they come now out of the zone. This is Backstrom, another veteran who has seen just record after record and award after award in his professional hockey career. But right now he's got his hands full with Del Hall, and he wins the battle and gets the puck out of the zone again. Tommy Bergman. Danny Lawson is in. Hall, shot, save Garrett.
Robbie Fatorik is almost knocked off balance with Ralph Backstrom again. Now there's a guy who made some big plays at center ice, tried to move the puck out. You'd think he'd be a little tired. He was the guy back covering Robbie in the slot, so you can't tell me these guys aren't trying to win this game.
They sure are. There's the East bench, number 23 going to sit down, Ralph Backstrom, number 3, J.C. Tremblay. Then Mike Rogers comes out on the ice. New England Whalers will be centering. He's a another little package of dynamite who has been making some things happen, Bob. This year he's off to his best start ever, and he can move the puck.
Two good scoring wings with Lyle and Webster who play with him for the Whalers.
Play back underway. There's that man again, Paul Schmier. Keeps it into the point. Everybody was in the way of that one. Little scramble in the corner as they try to come away with it. Put some pressure on in front. If Garrett can't do it, instead, Gordie Roberts scrambles, loses the puck. George Lyle, Paul Schmier from the point. Saved by Garrett again. Danny Lawson. As the West is starting to really heat things up, they want to get it back into this game. Knocked out of the zone by Mark Napier. Back to pick it up very easily is Schmier. Look at this little pass to Daly. Takes it back, and they started up the other way.
I'm not sure Joe was ready for
I'm
that.
not sure. That's why I think Paul kind of feathered it in there. He didn't want to have that one come in. Here's Fatorik. Sharp angle shot. In a little too close. Throws it out front. And it's going to be hauled away by mighty Mike Rogers. Over the red line, right side, Mark Napier. Stops. Holds, and now he fires. Lyle tries to throw it out front. Can't do it. Bergman will take it away to Lawson. To Hall. Down the middle. Tommy A moves to stop him. That's Tommy Abrahamson. And the puck is knocked in the corner. The shot not on goal. Hall calls for help. Here's Rogers. He's got Lyle with him. Lyle, left side. Lyle has it taken away. Kevin Morris.
3-on-1.
Oh, and what a threesome it is. Here's Hedberg, Bobby Howe out front, and Morrison couldn't get the puck.
Great play by Gordie Roberts.
By Gordie Roberts. Wait till you hear the ovation for this one, the hometown boy.
Gordie Roberts, an excellent play, breaking up a 3-on-1 in front of Mike Garrett, in front of John Garrett, rather, as he got back in the slot to break that pass up. Here it comes again. Bobby Hall unders Hedberg with the puck. Hedberg first man in across. He's looking for the Golden Jet. Who else? He's got it. Now watch Bobby right back to Morrison, but there's Gordie Roberts to break it up and wisely put it right up against the boards and say, stop it, let me get some guys back to help.
Where are some of my friends? Get them back here. Face off to the right of Garrett, and it comes all the way to the point where Paul Popeil from the Houston Aeros will stop it. There's Hedberg again. There's Hull. Popeil in the middle, turned aside by Tardif, and they come right out again. Morrison misses it, and Coutier is down the right side looking for him. This is Bobby Hull, one-on-one against Hughes. He tries to walk around him. He's pushed back to the boards gently, kicks the puck loose. Nilsson tries to go to Hedberg, can't do it. Instead, it's the flying Frenchman Serge Bernier. Caught from behind, though, and very easily taken. Oh, boy. By the flying Swede is right. Look at Anders Hedberg. All the way back, all the way back. Shot, save. Oh, what enjoyable hockey to watch from a fan's point of view.
Excellent hockey, and both teams have had just outstanding goaltending. John Garrett coming up with a big save there. Bobby Hall looking behind him to make sure it wasn't caught in the pass where he could wiggle it free and put it in.
5 minutes, 12 seconds remaining second period, 2-1. While we're getting set for this face-off, the attendance has just been passed to us, and it's just 170 people short of capacity here at the Hartford Civic Center. 10,337 on hand tonight. Play back in Hedberg, another save by Garrett. Ronnie Plum gets some help from Tardif. Bernier. Trying to go back to Tardif. Popeil will get there first, though. The West is really just having a lot of fun shooting the puck here.
Yep.
Back to the right point again, kept in, no overtime.
Been a super hockey game, and I think, as you mentioned, the fans have gotten their money's worth. Maybe not the high-scoring game that we expected, all the goals that we expected, but we've seen an awful lot of good goaltending and a lot of great play by the defensemen.
Okay, we're back underway. This is Cloutier. He and his line mates from Quebec are out there, and they tried to get it to Mark Tardif, but Bobby Hull has it instead. Leaves for Nilsson. Look at them back and forth, crisscross. Hull. Inside, Hedberg can't come up with it. Anders Hedberg. Serge Bernier kicked it, but it comes back to Paul Tabenchi. Out front. Knocked away. Cloutier breaks it out. 3-on-2. The classic move. The 3-on-2. Right side. This is Bernier. Can't come up with it. Barry Wilkins broke it up. 6 minutes, 50 seconds to go in the hockey game.
Hedberg set up right.
Oh, do they ever out front? There it is. Missed the net. Bobby Hall couldn't handle it. And it's going to be cleared away. Hedberg standing out front. And he's a tough one. He doesn't shoot him that wide very often, Bob.
No, not very often from the slot like that.
This is Tommy Abrahamson. Crisscrossing with Bernier. Nice pass back to Cloutier. His shot knocked down in front. Tardif in the corner. And are they going to... Nope, they're going to knock it loose. Tardif comes away with it. Tries to throw it out front. Can't do it.
Barry Wilkins with a good play.
Barry Wilkins, one of the newcomers to WHA. And you really don't hear much about him from Edmonton, but he is a fine, fine defenseman.
Shown it here tonight also.
I'll tell you, you get Cloutier, Tardif, Bernier, and Tommy Abrahamson, all the slick stick handlers out there at once, and it's like, here it is, now you see it, now you don't. Meantime, though, Bobby Hull comes back, loses the puck as he goes over the east blue line. A little over 5.5 minutes to go in the hockey game. 4-2, the East leads the West. Barry Wilkins at his own line. To Gordie Howe. Around one man. Over the line. Throws it in the slot. Taken away. Mike Rogers. He's there with George Lyle. They crisscross. Leaves for Gordie Roberts. Inside, Mike Rogers to George Lyle. Tipped wide. As Jacques Demers getting the Whalers out and really getting the crowd excited, Bob.
Yeah, it's good to play these guys together, and they're used to each other, and it's got to help at this particular time with the East leading by 2.
As Joe Norris gives Bobby Hull, walks in, quick shot. Garrett knocks another one away. I'll tell you, my vote right now for the tandem of Lavoisier and Garrett would be, I don't know how they would share it, but they have just done an outstanding job. They're going to see about 50-some shots the way things are going here between the two of them. Play back in. This is Joe Norris. Taking away Mike Rogers. Gives it to Mark Napier. Down behind the net it goes. Daly knocks it away from Lyle. This is Gordie Howe. Rogers after him. Norris takes it. Left. Tommy Bergman. Cam Connor. Puck comes back out to the neutral zone again. Paul Schmier waits. Tries to fire it in. Gordie Howe is offside, but it's a delayed call. He didn't touch the puck, and so J.C. Tremblay can bring it out. He sends Napier down the right side. Loose puck in front. Lyle shot it over the net. Cam Connor spins Lyle around, loses his stick and glove, and says, "I'm sorry, George. Let me pick it up." Fans, I think, might have thought that, in an ordinary game that would indicate something else, but not tonight. And now Connor runs into Lyle again. They kind of smile at each other. 3 minutes, 50 seconds to go in the hockey game. Long left wing pass, misses everybody. No icing. The linesman wave it off. Richard Ledoux Just circling.
Normie Ferguson putting some pressure on there.
Ralph Backstrom couldn't handle it as it came to the point. Popeil gives to Morrison. Popeil from Houston. Morrison from San Diego. Andre Lacroix from San Diego. In he goes. Behind the back. Willie Lindstrom couldn't handle it because Dennis Sobchuk took it away.
Good play by Dennis.
Here they come again. Backstrom from the New England Whalers. Over the blue line. Whoops. Forgot everything. He and Ferguson run into each other. Backstrom still has the puck. Gives it to Willie Lindstrom. Right side, Lacroix is out. 17 minutes are gone in the third period. As Lacroix in the corner throws it out, Backstrom is there. Here they come. 3-on-1. Ahead to Leduc, right side. Sobchuk, he's in. He shoots. Nice play, ball, Popeil. Rebound is loose in front, knocked away. Back behind the net, Backstrom shoots it out. And Danny Lawson starts it the other way. Up and down action, Bob, as we had anticipated. And only one penalty so far, one that absolutely had to be called. Lacroix comes out front, knocked away by Richard Leduc, and he starts it back. Morrison turns it back. Everybody changing, getting to the right side of the ice at least. Popeil, offside. 2 minutes, 21 seconds to go, Bob.
You know, we were Richard Leduc there.
Super play by Richard Leduc. We were talking about the various teams in the WHA, and we should talk about the splendid buildings. You mentioned Birmingham. I mentioned Houston. All around this arena. Your home rink, the Indianapolis Racers, Market Square Arena. Just a fantastic building to watch hockey game, basketball game. Everywhere you go, Cincinnati, Birmingham, you name them. The new buildings, the new stars.
The WHA is on the rapid increase, Bill. Contrary to what some folks might think, the WHA's crowds are up. Everything is going well in the league after the meetings here, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens at 4-2. And I'm going to head down and see who the most valuable player of the East is.
Okay, Bob. We're coming up to the final 2 minutes, and going the other way, Robbie Fatorik. He has Del Hall with him, can't do anything. Fatorik stopped. Top of the slot. Here it is from Da Vinci, kicked out by Garrett. Loose puck in the corner. Handled easily. Comes out to Da Vinci again. Left side, Hall. Minute 45 to go. Down behind the net. Whoops, Ron Plum overskated it. Comes out front, knocked loose, pulled away. Blair McDonald. Ahead to Hugh Harris. He bangs his stick on the ice. He didn't mean that. This one's going to be icing. Whoops. Some of the people didn't like that one. Exactly a minute and a half to go in the hockey game. 1 minute, 30 seconds to go in the 5th Annual World Hockey Association All-Star Game from the Hartford Civic Center. East All-Stars leading 4-2. The scoring went this way early in the period, first period, or midway in the first period. Tremblay for the East, then Schmier for the West tied it. Then Tardif for the East put them ahead at 14:56. No scoring in the second period. Third period, we had Lindstrom tie it, then Cloutier and Lyle scored for the East, and that's the score with a minute and a half to go. 4-2. Bob Lamy is on his way downstairs, and we'll be talking with the most valuable player from the East Division All-Stars. Play is back in. We're into the final minute and a half of play. This is Ron Plum behind the net. As these two teams really going at it, the West trying to get back within one goal, and then see what they can do about pulling the goaltender. Ronnie Plum, some heavy going. Plum still having trouble getting it out. We're into the final minute of the hockey game. There's the announcement. Left side, and it's out front for Blair McDonald. Save, Joe Daly. Just 49 seconds to go. Here's the replay. Watch that one. Daly is right there. 46 seconds to go as play is winding down in the 5th annual All-Star game down the left side. Here's Anders Hedberg again. Whoops, fan on a shot. You don't see that. Oh, gets it back out front. And shot wide as we come to the final 30 seconds of this All-Star game that has just provided a lot of excitement for the fans. We're watching Tommy Abrahamson. Whoops, somebody spins and falls down. Serge Bernier. 20 seconds to go. You'll want to stay with us for the ceremonies that will follow the buzzer immediately. And you'll see the awards. Long right wing pass for Anders Hedberg. He's in. He shoots. Save! John Garrett with 7 seconds to go. Watch this play. Long cross ice pass. Here it is. Hedberg breaking in off wing. Right wing, left-handed shooter through the defenseman's leg. Garrett saved, and there is Chi-Chi. We're going to be hearing the announcement of the most valuable players very, very shortly. As the clock will wind down, the puck is on the ice. The crowd counts it down. There's a shot from Barry Hall. The buzzer goes wide, and it's all over. The 5th annual World Hockey Association All-Star Game is history. The winners are the East Division All-Stars 4 and the West All-Stars 2. And now, as the teams gather on the blue line, we're going to go down to the ice level for the presentation and announcement of tonight's most valuable players. Here's the announcer, Scott Rasmussen.
World Hockey Association All-Star Game. The awards are to be presented by Mr. Marvin S. Lowith, the Senior Vice President of Connecticut General Life Insurance Company. The most valuable player from the West Division All-Stars, number 20, Willie Lindstrom. The presentation of the Most Valuable Player Award to the winning team is Mr. Larry Gordon, the Executive Vice President of the World Hockey Association. And the Most Valuable Player for the East Division All-Stars, number 30, Louis Lavasseur. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you enjoy the 5th Annual World Hockey Association All-Star Game. As you leave the arena, please drive carefully, have a pleasant evening, and good night.
The 1977, the 5th Annual World Hockey Association All-Star Game between the Western Division All-Stars and the Eastern Division All-Stars is concluded. The most valuable players from the West Division team, Willie the Wisp, Willie Lindstrom, as we watch the players now after the traditional handshake leave the ice, and the winning player, the most valuable player from the East Division All-Stars, Louis Lavasseur, who is now a member of the Edmonton Oilers. And sitting with me now, as we are watching everyone leaving just a little bit, Howard, everybody's going to say turn around just a little bit here, slide your chair around. This is Howard Baldwin, managing general partner of the host team, the New England Whalers, vice president of the World Hockey Association, and I might add at this point, a tired young executive. Howard, congratulations. It was a super game. I think the fans really enjoyed it. Just a super 2 or 3 days, and I don't know about you, but I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, I've enjoyed every minute of it, too, and I think that everybody connected with the Whalers and the city of Hartford and the Civic Center and the league has done a great job. Really is, for 3 days, it takes a heck of a lot of hard work, and we never would have been able to pull it off without the efforts of everybody. And the game was a great game. I think that's one of the best All-Star games I've seen. Certainly is in the 5 years of WHA. It's the best All-Star game I've seen.
We were commenting during the play when it was close at 2-2, and Real Cloutier put it in. Suddenly, Bobby Crom was up on the dasher, and Kevin Morrison was shouting at Ron Harris, and we were debating whether they'd play overtime just to settle something there, because they got pretty serious, didn't they? They really came to enjoy themselves, but they played a fine game.
They came to play, and I think that was great, and I don't know what he was yelling about, but the fact that he was yelling showed enough concern so that you knew that he wanted to win the game.
Howard, we have the most valuable player from the East All-Stars, the sensational goaltender Louis Levasseur, standing by. Let's go down and talk to him for a minute, and when we're ready, we don't want to think that we're going to eliminate you, but we'll be coming back. Before we go down there, though, this crowd, I think, just has to help the players, whether it's an exhibition game or not. The Hartford fans, well, they were turned on by a recent Soviet game. They were certainly turned on by this one, enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah, they're great fans here. They're responsive, they're alive, the building is alive, and these fans are super hockey fans, and they love to see excitement, and they love to see a winning game, and they really deserve what they saw tonight. They're super people here.
Howard, during the first intermission, the chairman of the board of the WHA, Mr. Ben Hatskin, announced a very interesting and innovative international interlocking, where the 4 teams from Russia, Czechoslovakia, Sweden, and Finland will come here, and those games will count in the standings. Has this been overwhelmingly and enthusiastically received by all the teams? I think that it's such an exciting concept that I can't see why it hadn't happened before.
Well, it hasn't happened before because there hasn't been somebody around like Benny to be able to pull it off. But as far as it being greeted by everybody in the league, there was no debate. They just said, Benny, go do it. And I think it'll be great. I think he'll pull it off, too. I think it'll be very, very exciting for the league.
Howard, we have the goaltender standing by right now with our colleague Bob Lamey. Don't go away. Let's listen to what Louis has to say. Let's go down to Bob Lamey.
Well, we might as well call this the Louis Levasseur Show. Welcome to it. Louis is going to host the rest of the evening. Congratulations. Great game, and obviously a great honor for you.
Oh, thank you very much. This is a big thrill for me. I didn't expect that, and it's just a big thrill. I just can't believe it what happened right now.
What were you thinking standing on the blue line when they were announcing the Eastern Division Most Valuable Player?
Well, I was not thinking about a goaltender because we only played 30 minutes, but it just turned out all right. And Johnny Guy played a hell of a game, too.
He did. He really did.
Yeah.
I think maybe the tandem of you played the best goal that we've seen in an All-Star game.
Well, I don't know about this, because that's the first one I see.
How about those guys in front of you? The defensemen played excellently
Yeah,
tonight.
we played really well, and we had a good bunch of guys. We're really loose, Everybody was loose, so it's good to win it.
Louis, no matter what happens from here on in, I guess this would have to be maybe the first great Major League thrill for you.
Oh, that's for sure. I just don't believe it this year. Everything that's happened to me, and just can't believe it, that's all.
It's scary at times. You think how well things have gone, and everybody keeps saying things even out over the year, that things might go badly for you.
Well, I just don't want to think about it, that's all.
What about the game tonight? You had a chance to watch the last 30 minutes. Watching an All-Star game as a participant, yet as a spectator. How'd you enjoy it?
Oh, well, sitting out there on the bench, it's a different game than... I think it was a good game tonight. And the Swedish, they just skate too fast, I think. Geez, I didn't see these guys skate so fast like that.
Yet I think every shot, the one goal that was scored against you was a play you made a great stop on, and Paul Schmier came out of nowhere. Other than that, the Bobby Hull shot, any other tough ones for you tonight?
Well, Enbert had a good one in the first about 5 minutes there, and but the other one, they were coming from, not too close range, so I could really see them coming. So,
what'd you say to Chichi when you sent him out there?
I said, shut him out, that's all.
Just shut him out. You don't answer.
He said, he said, I will. No problem.
He almost did. I tell you, the one goal he had scored on him, he had no chance on.
He had no chance there for sure. It was just the guys were just from the slot. He had no chance. Picked a corner. And
if you were picking a most valuable player tonight on the East squad, who helped Louis Levasseur the most while you were out there?
Well, JC is, he just played fantastic. Pat and we had a good bunch of defensemen there, so you can't expect
When you came to the game tonight, did you expect it to be this close, this low scoring, or did you think maybe they might get a few more by you?
Well, I tell you, today I couldn't sleep today, and I was just in the room, in my room, and I was just, I was really nervous, you know, because this is my first one. I was really nervous, and I didn't know what to do, and everything turned all right. So
when you're a rookie in this game, and you go into the dressing room before an all-star game, do any of the veteran players take charge, say, hey, calm down, everything's okay?
Oh yeah, sure. Like Ralph Backstrom, he's been around, you know, and Mark Tardif, and they really help me, you know, to tell me to relax and stuff like that.
The coaches always tell you, Jacques Demers says, go out and have fun, enjoy the game, put on a good show. Can you relax? Can you go out there and say, the heck was just another game?
Well, sure you can if you if you work at it, but it's something you have to work with years, I think, to come up with, you know, like to go there and relax and stuff like that.
You thought about having your own television show? You might as well, Louis. You're a star all across the country now.
I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it.
Louis, the game of hockey is basically a goaltender's game. You're the last stopgap. The goaltenders that we have in the WHA now, just as good, I think, as maybe the other league, and maybe as any league.
Sure, that's definitely, there's every team in this league, they got some good goaltender. You know, and like compared to the other league, it's the same thing. The guys are shoot the puck as hard as anybody, you know. And
do you ever have a chance to kid around or talk with the other goaltenders in the league and say, hey, you played a real bad game against me the other day?
Well, I don't want to talk about that, you know. And
you don't like to talk to the other goaltenders too much?
Oh yes, after the game, you know, I like to, you know, go and say something. And
Louis, again, our congratulations on just a superb effort here tonight. And anything?
Bob, I like to see something.
Sure.
I wish all my teammates, Minnesota, they find a job, and because we had a great team this year, and we had guys that worked really hard, and I hope they all find a job.
Louis, I know they will, and again, you guys had a heck of a hockey club up there. Why'd you win last week? You could have let us win and had 2 more points.
Yeah, well, it was just one of those nights, eh?
Louis, congratulations. Great effort, great honor for you, and the very best to you in the days to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Lou Levasseur, the most valuable player of the Eastern All-Star team, and now back to Bill Rasmussen.
Thanks very much, Bob Lamy, and our congratulations to Louis as well. As we were doing just before we went down to meet the MVP, we're talking with Howard Baldwin. Howard, Louis is a member of the Minnesota Fighting Saints, now the Edmonton Oilers. The Saints are gone, but the WHA is stronger than ever, and there have been some interesting transactions as a result of their demise.
Well, that's right, Bill. You know, it is unfortunate about the Saints because they were doing very well on the ice, and it should be a great hockey town, and Nick Maletti, I think, is a great guy, and it's just unfortunate that it has to happen at the All-Star game if it has to happen, because there's so many positive things that the league is doing, and one negative, it's like, what is it, about the rotten apples? Well, but one negative sort of jaundices the whole league in the eye of the public, but the league itself is really prospering. The transactions you were talking about, where the Whalers today acquired the rights to Keon and McKenzie and Jack and Steve Carlson. They'll be here tomorrow at 2 o'clock for practice, and they'll be in the game Thursday when we play the Quebec Nordiques.
And do I ask the next question? Are there any players from New England going to Edmonton?
There will be. The deal is not finished yet, but we know those 4 guys are coming. And there could possibly be another player coming from Edmonton, and there will definitely be a player going from New England to Edmonton. I would hope by the end of tonight or tomorrow that the whole deal will be consummated, and we'll all know what it is completely.
Howard, again, thank you very much for taking time to come up at the end of a long, long weekend that's now up to Tuesday night at almost 11 o'clock or wherever it is. I know you're tired, and we appreciate your coming by. Congratulations on a super show, and we're going to take a look at some of the highlights. If you can see some more hockey, you can look over our shoulder as we take a look at what happened in the third period. Our guest has been Howard Baldwin, Managing General Partner of the New England Whalers and the Vice President of the World Hockey Association. Now, we're going to take a look at some of the action. One of Howard's favorite hockey players, George Lyle, did some scoring, and we'll take a look at some activity right here. Here's a shot that we have to go back. That was scored by Willie Lindstrom. He was the most valuable player. I was looking at the wrong thing there, folks. Willie Lindstrom, who was the most valuable player for the Western Division team, tied the score at 4:07 from Barry Wilkins. And at that time, it looked like people were starting to talk about An overtime. Well, it didn't last very long because Réal Cloutier came along and scored what proved to be the winning goal at 7 minutes 57 seconds. And what a play it was. First of all, he comes in and gets a shot. The puck will go behind the net. There's Bernier. Now comes Cloutier looking for a puck, and he flips it back. It's deflected behind the net. John Hughes gets it. Cloutier scrambles right back out front. And there it is. That made it 3-2 at 7:57. Less than a minute later, as a matter of fact, just about 38 seconds later, the goal I guess everyone in the building was waiting to see happened, and that's when three Whalers combined to score a goal, and the goal scorer was their popular rookie, number 16, George Lyle. As it goes across from Joe Daly, Lyle reaches out, grabs it, and watch this. Right back in, bang. That made it 4-2, the assist to Abrahamson and Rogers, and that's the way the score ended. 4-2 in favor of the East Division All-Stars. We said early, before we started, before they even dropped the puck, it'd be an offensive kind of a game. Well, the West Division All-Stars had 51 shots on goal. The East Division All-Stars, 27. So it was an interesting kind of an evening. The outstanding player of the hockey game from the East, Louis Lavasseur, who you just met, won the MVP award, and from the West, Willie Lindstrom. Earlier tonight, we were talking with the Executive Vice President of the WHA, Larry Gordon, about some of the international competition that he has just experienced. And that didn't include all of the hard work this past week, Larry, but I know that was a lot of hard work. You traveled to Moscow, then came back and traveled to the United States and Canada with the Soviets. You kind of got to know those fellows as we were discussing the last intermission. And you have some interesting insight that I don't think too many people in the Western world get of the Russians.
Well, that's right. When we were over in Moscow, contrary to a lot of rumors, we were treated like royalty, and the Soviet government and Ice Hockey Federation did everything possible to make our stay very enjoyable, and we certainly tried to do the same thing when the Russians toured the United States and Canada. Some of the humorous things that happened along the way, we were in Houston and traveling to Indianapolis on New Year's Eve, and I asked the Chuckles, the coach, Boris Kalagin, if I could put a bottle of champagne on each of the players' tables, and there were 8 players at a table, and I told him I didn't feel that one glass of champagne would hurt his players. And his answer was a very strong and positive niet, and he said, put flowers on the table, and that's what their players had for New Year's Eve, was flowers on the table. And it was also Kalagin's birthday, so in the Houston airport I stopped and bought him a bullwhip, a 20-foot bullwhip, and presented it to him that evening in front of his players, and the players, of course, broke right up, and they thought it was very funny, but I don't think Boris did, and he didn't think it was funny at all.
Larry, one of the things that whenever you go into a foreign country, the language problem, all of us people in the English-speaking world seem to think that everyone should speak English. Well, it doesn't quite work that way. Most of the foreign people speak their own language and English, but did you encounter any particularly unusual problems because of the fact that when you had the Soviet team in this country, that they were very limited in their English?
They are very limited in their English, but I found it amazing that you could communicate with each and every one of them. There are ways, either through sign language, but you really try to understand a little harder, I guess, through facial expressions and hand movements. And as I said before, they're real gentlemen. One of the humorous things that happened again along the way was after we left the game here in Hartford, which the Whalers won, and Kalagin was a little upset with what he felt was a shoddy job of refereeing, and he grabbed me by the lapels and said, don't you ever say anything against the Soviet Union officials again. He said, in our country, the people come to watch the players and not the game official, and of course the referee was Bill Friday, so I told Bill that story later, and he got quite a kick out of it.
It's interesting to sit and chat with you and get some of the insight, and I think that next year with the new innovative scheduling of the European teams, interlocking the schedule, we're going to get to know these people just a little better, and I think it's a great step forward for the WHA and professional hockey.
Oh, it's a very positive step for our league, and it's a great coup, really. I think that this is where the future of professional hockey is going. I think it's certainly strengthened our league tremendously. If you look at the attendance records set in Houston, San Diego, and Edmonton during the recent visit of the Soviets, it certainly indicates that that's what the fans want. And believe me, we're going to pursue it. And contrary to what Alan Eagleson would like to have us do, we're going to play as many games as possible in North America against all international competition.
Larry, I know it's been a busy week. I want to thank you very much for sitting in with us and extending this busy week a few more minutes. And now you can take a deep breath and relax. You don't have to go back to work till tomorrow morning.
Well, thank you very much, Bill, and you've certainly made our pleasure, our stay here, a real pleasure. And I mean that sincerely. The Whalers have done a wonderful job, and so have you.
Thank you very much. Larry Gordon, Executive Vice President of the World Hockey Association. We've met all of the officials of the league, and we've met the players, the most valuable player, and we'd like to have you meet one of the hardest working coaches, a very young coach, perhaps the youngest coach in professional hockey, and he's the coach tonight with a smile on his face, the coach of the Indianapolis Racers during all the regular season play, and tonight the winning coach for the East Division All-Stars, Jacques Demers. Congratulations.
Well, it's a great thrill to be here in the winning column again, and I thought we had a little trouble because the ice was tilted. So I asked them to put a little more water down and in the third period to go up the hill a little more. But it was a great thrill to coach these guys, really, Bill. Had a great time.
It always seems that whenever you come to this building, this is my first time to talk to you as a winning coach, but your announcer, Bob Lamy, who has been working with us, and we're going to get back in here very shortly, is always interviewing you, and you always have a smile in Hartford. You work very hard, Jacques, and congratulations tonight. Just a super entertaining hockey game.
Well, it's a pleasure to play in Hartford. The fans are great, and it's a good hockey town, and every time we come here, we seem to have success. But with the acquisition maybe of some other players in the future, I think that it's going to be a little tougher. But tonight, the full house, the fans were great. And, when you have a bunch of all-stars like Bernier, Tardif, Stapleton, and even our Parizeau, Leclerc, Parizeau and B.J. McDonald, and Huey Harris, Leclerc must be thinking about me. We have a good time, and tonight playing against Gordie, Howe, and Bobby Hall, the great athletes, and it was a great thrill for me.
You think you'd win your division if you had that squad playing 480 games?
I stick with my racers all the time.
Jacques, well said. Congratulations again. We're going to bring in, this is an Indianapolis night now, we're going to bring in Bob Lamy. We've just about run out of time. Congratulations to you. Look forward to seeing you. And you won't be back here again until Saturday night, but that time it'll be with the Indianapolis Racers. Congratulations again.
Pleasure. Thank you, Bill.
Jacques Demers, the coach of the successful East Division All-Stars. The building is quiet now. It's been quite a night, and at the Hartford Civic Center, all the bunting that was loaded before the game that kind of gave a hint of anticipation, of excitement, of all the things that were going to happen, perhaps looks a little bit forlorn now, and Bob Lamy is back with us. I don't think that the bunting really is any different, Bob. I guess it's the anticipation, the excitement that each and every individual builds into his own mind. I look forward to it. It was just a great evening.
Yeah, Bill, I think that's the key. The fans came here. They got a great show. They got a great game. The goaltending was excellent. There were 6 goals scored in the game, the East getting 4 of them. There was good, solid defensive play. The fans just were super here tonight, and boy, I was happy to see George or somebody from the Whalers score, because that's always great when a hometown guy gets a goal or makes a big play. And Tommy Abrahamson made a couple of big plays. Gordie Roberts stopped a 3-on-1 break. So the Whaler fans had to be very, very happy here. I think the key, though, was the goaltending. Louis Levasseur, John Garrett were just outstanding. And there was some talk around that maybe one or both of them shouldn't have been on the team, and maybe people didn't know what they were doing. And I have a sneaky suspicion that Louis and John got together and said, you want to bet we're not supposed to be here, and we'll just show you. Joe Daly didn't play that badly. A couple of the goals scored on him, no one in the world could have stopped. And the starting goaltender, Wayne Rutledge, was just great for the West, too. So you got to see Gordie. He didn't score, but he did an awful lot of things. There will be a lot of folks go home with bruises tomorrow, and they'll be able to tell you Gordie was here tonight. Excellent hockey game. The 2 young defensemen from Cincinnati, Ron Plum, John Hughes, played very, very well together. You know, Pat Stapleton and J.C. Trombley, it's almost like putting 2 bookends together. You know they're going to play well. Gordie Roberts, Tommy Abrahamson came up big. Tommy hasn't played all that much, as you well know, Bill, and maybe he was struggling a little bit, but boy, did he put on a show here tonight. But I was really happy to see Plum and John Hughes, who have been overlooked, both of them, from Cincinnati, play as well as they did. Jock, I'm sure, has said something, but Huey Harris, Blair McDonald, and Michel Parizeau did not score tonight, but did a good job defensively, and Michel had the breakaway, and I'm sure I'll hear about that on the plane back. It was all the goaltender's fault. But whatever happened, it was a great hockey game here, and I really enjoyed it. Boy, I'm glad we didn't have to go overtime. because we'd had to put on another Louis Levasseur show, and I don't know if I can handle it.
Bob, we've talked about Houston, about Indianapolis, about Cincinnati, about the teams in Canada. Everywhere you go, all the WHA cities, they all have their stars. Their stars were all here tonight. We might not have mentioned each of the stars in the same light because of the circumstances of who scored, who did the goaltending, and so on. But no matter where they were from, they're the best in the league, and they were here tonight, and they came proudly, and I thought they performed proudly.
I think they did the league justice tonight. This was a heck of an all-star game, better than most you're going to see no matter what the league is, and just super play on both ends. And you're right, maybe we didn't mention some of the guys as much as we should have, but everybody contributed here tonight, and everybody did a good job. Richie Leduc, Dennis Sobchuk, he had a couple of big shots tonight, and Dennis, I think characterizing Dennis Sobchuk, went up to Jacques Demers yesterday, shook his hand, and said, "Thanks, Coach. I really appreciate this, and I'll work for you tomorrow night." And he did, and that's all a coach can ask for. And Jacques told me, he says, go out and have fun. These guys had fun and played a heck of a hockey game too.
Well, Robert, it's all over now. Now we have to go back to work, and you, as I said to your coach, you won't be back until Saturday night. We look forward to seeing you again then. From the New England Whalers' point of view, they would like it if you would let them win once this year. It'll be a great, great game, and I have to say to you, personally, I enjoyed working with you very, very much, as always, and we look forward to seeing you again. And we'll be at the 6th game in Houston, and I'm sure you'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be arguing again, just like always. It was a thrill for me, and thanks, Bill.
Okay, Bob Lamey from the Indianapolis Racers. You've just seen the 5th Annual World Hockey Association All-Star Game, and this is Bill Rasmussen, along with Bob Lamey, reminding you that this program was authorized by the World Hockey Association solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any broadcast, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this telecast without the express written consent of Connecticut Public Television is prohibited. This program has been pre-recorded. The final score, once again, the East All-Stars 4, the West All-Stars 2. This has been a feature presentation of Connecticut Public Television Sports. This is PBS, the Public Broadcasting Service.
This program has been made possible by grants from Avco Financial Services Incorporated and Connecticut General Insurance Corporation.